Why the Fuck Notters. We're back again with another episode. I'm Ed.
I'm Dwight.
And I'm Aaron.
Well, it's been a little bit since we'll be able to sit down. So, Dwight, how's your past couple of weeks been?
It's been pretty good, actually. I've actually, and it's going to be appropriate for the topic we're talking about today, but I've been getting into some retro gaming lately.
Nice.
And so Final Fantasy is kind of what I'm doing right now. Final Fantasy 6.
It's such a sweet game.
Yeah, I'm going to jump to Final Fantasy 7 after. I never finished 6 initially, and I did finish 7, and I love the storyline, but I kind of just got, like, disconnected from the characters, so I felt like I had to go back to season or to
the 6.
To 6 before I went forward to like the 10 and 11 and 12.
I think that's a good starting point too, because 6 is like the very first of the games, in my opinion anyway, where the story started taking forth the most important part of the game.
Yes.
Like part 4, the story was good. But it was still your basic, princess and shit, bullshit like that. Like the same thing that they always kind of go on. But part 6, they changed it around and they started doing like Kefka's honestly the most sadistic fucking person.
Yeah, for like a 2D game.
Oh yeah, he's
terrifying.
Even all games, like he's honestly on my top list of like worst bad guys out there, like the shit that he pulled and stuff like that in the game. So
yeah,
I think it's an awesome starting point for getting into it. Like it's one of my favorite games of all time. It really is. Like,
so I'm looking for. I'm almost done it. I've committed some time to it, and I'm almost done it.
Yeah, you're doing it on Android or iOS, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How is it on there? Like, how do you find?
It's pretty good. Like, I mean, it's not. I think it's easier to almost navigate your characters. It's almost because you get the 8-directional pad opposed to the 4-directional pad. On the iOS.
They do angles and stuff on that?
They do angles on that.
Okay.
So
well, I guess they do for... Yeah, the SNES does too, yeah.
I guess you got to hold down the 2.
Yeah, you just left it up or whatever.
It's been a while since I played it. But yeah, it's fun. It's good. The game's like exactly like... the game is the same. So it's good. I liked it. And,
fantastic.
It's one of those games that'll work on a touchscreen because there's not like crazy action.
Yeah, exactly. It's like stop and play or whatever.
You don't have to like shuriken somebody or anything.
Exactly.
Like, you're good.
Yeah, it's not Street Fighter. Yeah. So it's all good. And then that and Warcraft have been kind of.
Oh, you're getting into like the originals or World?
You know what I've been doing? You know what's kind of driving me into games is like I'll watch I go on YouTube journeys. So like we were talking about like the speed running before.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, some popped up with like Warcraft and like BlizzCon, so then I jumped into that and watching BlizzCon highlights. And then I remember I loved Warcraft 3 and the Frozen Throne. Like I loved those games, and yeah, so I started watching some of the BlizzCon finales and stuff on it. And it's cool to watch, anyways. It's fun.
Yeah, that's really interesting stuff. Like when they get especially something like BlizzCon, because it's got so much hype and like adrenaline around what they do.
I can't believe how good some of these guys are at this game. Like they have a lot of them.
People make money.
It's like 200. Oh yeah, there's like tournaments with grand prizes of like
over
silly amounts of money. Yeah, and you can like the clicks per second that these guys got to perform and like.
Fucking insane.
Insane. Like to like handle a battle on one side of the map while still like, facilitating your base on the other end of the map and farming on this end of the map, and like I can't believe how they can do it all at once. And I don't know, it's neat to watch anyways, just because I can't do it. So
well, no, I agree. I've watched some Dota tournaments, and Dota's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
totally. It's so insane what they do
League
on
of
that.
Legends.
LOLs, that's another
League of
fucking.
Legends is a huge game now, eh? Like there's.
It picked up a lot of steam in the past 5 years.
It's massive in Asia.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Isn't that what that guy died playing?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's where people always died playing.
Yeah. Well,
there's been countless deaths. People like playing so long.
Yeah, just exhausting themselves and dying. This the one that I'm thinking of is like some Chinese guy in an internet cafe was.
Oh, I saw that.
And nobody noticed for like I think it was 8 hours or 6 hours or something like that. He'd been dead for a while and nobody even fucking noticed because they're all just sitting there clicking away. Yeah, he just started smelling. Oh well, you shit yourself, right? Like it's like people start noticing.
People sleeping there all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure they do, but. Fuck, that's crazy shit. But I'm really interested in that type of stuff too.
It's been fun to watch, anyways.
That's really relative to today's topic too. But Aaron, how about you? How's your week been?
Not too bad. I haven't done anything too notable. My week's always the same. Yesterday I ate 400 milligrams of edibles and went on a 7-kilometer bike ride.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Did you discover something?
I discovered I don't like riding bikes.
Oh, no.
What at the 7 hour you're like, I'm gonna go home.
It's not that much. Like my friend does like 30 kilometers, but I'm super out of shape, so I thought it was pretty good. I did like
that's pretty decent, yeah.
Non-stop in 22 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good trip.
Oh, you did in 20? That's a very short trip though, but that's a long trip in a short time.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet, man. I mean, getting out there to do anything. I was just talking with my doctor today, and he was like, what did he say? 30 minutes a day will change your life.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Yeah, I remember you
7
telling me
minutes.
7 minutes.
Be
Well,
active
they're
for
talking
7
walking,
minutes.
like just walking. He
Oh,
said
walking,
if you do
okay.
like a brisk walk for 30 minutes a day, it will change your life 100%.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what you
for
were
sure.
saying is 7 minutes of activity a day will increase your metabolism.
100% it will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see noticeable results if you're like getting at least the target heart rate max within 7 minutes. So if like you were standing there and do jumping jacks, for example, like you're gonna be burning calories and you're gonna be noticing a difference in your body. Like with a good diet, if you were just doing 7 minutes a day, like 100%. Whereas 30 minutes of like walking, where you're not exerting yourself as much, for sure, it's gonna help your like your cardiovascular system. But and another thing with like walking, it's like it's almost therapeutic too. Like I hate walking. I do not like walking, but I force myself to go on walks because it'll like really clear your mind and it'll like give you the opportunity. It's almost like it's like with meditation, right? Where you're forcing yourself to be quiet and you're trying to listen to yourself. It's walking almost makes you do that too because you just get lost in your thoughts.
I was just about to say, I think I do a lot of when I'm walking.
You do a lot of
With
thinking.
nobody else.
Yeah.
I just start my mind literally wanders with me. You know, like
And then
it's,
sometimes you go on those walks, and if you're just wandering and thinking, and you'll be like, wow, I walked 5 kilometers. You know what I mean? Like
Before you even
without
know it, yeah.
do it. Yeah, exactly. You'll just kind of snap out of it after like a certain point.
what I used to get back into music. I think I mentioned on the other podcast that I lost that when I stopped smoking pot. Was enjoying it. Was actually going for walks. It helped me like want to take the time to listen to the music, but I lose myself in my thoughts when I'm listening to it, and it became like this process. And then I started loving it again. So
Yeah.
it was walks that did that though.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure. It made a huge difference.
I find I need a destination when I'm walking. Like, I can't just wander aimlessly.
Yeah, you need
Like
to be
on a
going
bike-
somewhere. Totally. I know
On a
what you're
bike,
saying,
I can
yeah.
do that. I can just go wherever. But walking, I feel like I need to accomplish something.
gotta-
I need to
yeah.
get somewhere.
You know what I saw the other day outside? I live in St. Agath. I saw a lady walking her dog in our front street with a fucking cowboy hat on. I don't know why she was wearing a cowboy hat.
I thought you meant the dog
No,
was.
she was wearing a cowboy hat, which didn't make sense to me. First of all, if you're not wearing cowboy boots, you better not wear a fucking cowboy hat. Right? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
This doesn't match.
It doesn't match.
Fashion police.
Why are you wearing it? So,
We're in
better be-
Manitoba,
yeah.
too. If we're in, like, Alberta,
She
that
better
makes
be
sense.
walking to her fucking farm and fucking
Feed her cows.
feeding her cows. Yeah, exactly. Making horseshoes or something. She better not just be
That's fucking funny, actually.
walking her dog. Otherwise, it's just
My,
piss off.
my mom has, like, this baby blue sparkly cowboy hat. I don't know, my mom's
Oh my
weird,
Baby
gosh.
blue
ex-
sparkling, eh?
extravagant.
I've seen that before at the Red River X. That's about it.
I think my mom wore it to, like, my brother's, like, fancy, like,
Yeah, obviously,
dinner
she
or
did.
something like
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's awesome. That's fucking
Yeah,
sweet.
okay, my mom...
That's just, you know, that she'll never admit it, but I bet you she was just trying to fuck with your brother.
Oh, probably. We used to have, like, a 2002 Ford Focus. Like, not a good car. Like, shitty car. And my mom
Ford
decided...
Focuses aren't that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this
Debatable.
is where it gets shitty.
Get yourself a Fiesta. Tell me that.
My mom decided we needed spinner rims.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so
now
we-
that's a choice
Damn.
sound investment right
yeah,
there.
so we got, like, these 40...
Autofocus.
I bet you the rims
Yeah.
are just worth more than the car
No,
itself.
'cause
eh?
they were like $40 rims. From,
Oh, they
like,
were the
Walmart.
plastic ones that barely do
Oh.
shit.
Yeah, they were
Ah,
plastic, and
the
they would just like
spinners,
spin
eh?
in the wind.
Oh my
It was
God.
hilarious. We
Oh.
had them on our car for like months, and
Yeah,
then
that's
I'm
questionable.
pretty sure my brother just like paid someone to like rip them off the car. And then, because like we came out one day and they were missing, and my brother's like, I guess we just got to take off the other two, and
Your
just
mom
like
just
you know,
comes outside with her sparkling.
Just
cowboy
disappointed.
hat. Disassembling her spinners.
It's fucking
God
terrible.
damn
This
it.
is a sad day today.
Have you heard of Tom Segura? Do you know that comedian is?
I think I do. I've heard the
Fuck
name
yeah.
anyway.
Awesome stand-up. He does a whole
Yeah.
bit about people wearing cowboy hats and how they should just be fucking. They should have a gun with them at all times and
you should.
When I-
settle any dispute at the with a pistol.
Just every
battle.
time you open the door, you have to
Meet me at
pause
the
for a
saloon.
second.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang.
Every time you
Yeah,
open the door,
exactly.
fucking great. When I was in the States, I saw a place that was selling cowboy hats. I was trying to convince my wife. I was just like, "Can I get a cowboy hat?" And she's like, "Do you really want one?" I'm like, well, "Yeah, I fucking want one." Like,
You are-
kidding? And there's cowboy boots. I gotta look into. It became
You have
too
a
daunting.
cowboy hat on, you better wear, like ride a fucking horse everywhere.
Or at
You're
least
not
have some-
allowed to use modern
At
technology.
least have
yeah.
some tumbleweed with you.
Something. They're
Yeah,
just always
exactly.
kicking around a tumbleweed everywhere you go.
Exactly.
Dum, dum, dum,
It's
dum, dum.
inexcusable in today's society to wear a cowboy hat. Unless
Oh,
you're a
it's-
fucking farmer. That's the
Yeah.
only way. Otherwise,
Unless
fuck
you
off.
come into a city once a week.
Yeah,
That's fucking
just,
sweet.
just says you don't care what people think about you.
So that sounds like a very good week for you.
I like that story.
It's a good story. That was good. I enjoyed it. Myself, it's been fucking crazy week, like past couple weeks, doing a lot of work, lots of hours and stuff like that before I go on the trip. Trip's only a week away. Fucking mental that it's coming up.
Kind of excited.
Oh, I'm super excited for the trip. Yeah. Unbelievable that it's like this fucking close, but I'm super excited
it's so
for it.
Healthy, I think, for people to take vacations.
I think I need one at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can feel it inside. It's like, okay, I need to take a break from everything and just kind of forget about shit.
Well, they've done studies like that. That's why they've narrowed the work week down in a lot of the countries in Europe, right?
Yeah,
like
they're down to, I think it's like 4-day work week, 10 hours a day or something like that, right?
Sometimes you can just exert yourself too much and get lost in yourself, and sometimes you need like a holiday where you can just shut everything down.
Yeah.
Just focus on having fun.
I really need to do it.
Yeah, even if you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, even just taking like a vacation at home helps.
That's all I ever do.
Yeah, a staycation.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But it's going to be
You
nice
just
to
need
actually
shut down sometimes.
Yeah, that's what it is for me.
You're going in overdrive constantly. You're thinking 50,000 thoughts a day, and you're constantly working, and there's no like if you're not taking a vacation ever. Like you ever see those guys who just like age super quick, but they're talking about how like they've done labor for like 20 years. Like, I haven't taken a holiday in 10 years.
It fucking shows.
Dude, you can tell. Yeah,
you can see it in your face.
Yeah. You look destroyed. Yeah, you look like you're 60.
You got fucking rickets, like
rickets.
Sorry. I'm super excited for it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's our honeymoon, so we're gonna really indulge as best we can.
Honeymoon stuff.
Yeah, honeymoon stuff all the time. You know, like we're gonna be in Disneyland, the Magical Kingdom, for our actual honeymoon, like the day of. So it's like the princess area or whatever.
You're in Disney World, are you not?
Disney World, Disneyland. Yeah. The one in Orlando.
Disneyland is in Anaheim.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Orlando's
California. Yeah, and then Disney. Okay, so Disney World, which I think is the bigger of the two.
It is the bigger of the world.
Yeah, so we're going
versus the land.
Yeah. Just I
went to Disneyland before when I was 16, and it was just a magical place, and I actually loved it. Like I don't know, but like truthfully, like you could be 50 years old and have a blast at Disneyland. Like I've
already got plans.
It's ageless. It's timeless.
While I'm there, I got one fucking agenda while I'm at Disneyland, and that's to fucking steal Eeyore's tail and just fucking run with it. Just fucking get it going. Like fucking, I'm getting this.
It's mine now.
I got the tail.
Just getting kicked out of Disney World. Wow.
What'd you do? I was still fucking Eeyore's
tail. What'd you do on your honeymoon? Yeah, well, I fucked up Eeyore.
Someone had to do
it. Theme park.
He's looking at me funny.
Other than that, like it's just been crazy.
He's looking at me funny.
So that like motherfucker gave me the shifty eye.
Yeah.
I can fucking
give
see
me a stare down. He didn't blink once.
He's wearing cowboy hat and everything. I was fucking waiting for it. Other than that, it's been pretty good. A little update on my green situation, like doing those veggie greens. I went to the doctors today. They took my blood pressure, and because basically when I went to the doctors last, it was 1 week later I started taking the veggie greens.
Yeah.
My blood pressure has gone down, my cholesterol has gone down, I've lost some weight, and he said that it was one of the most dramatic changes within that short period of time that he's seen since almost ever. There was one other person that he said that did a big lifestyle change. And that was a little bit more than me, but it was pretty well on equal standings as what's happened just from taking veggie greens. Like I haven't really done much extra exercise.
Well, it's amazing what like that having those 8 servings of vegetables a day actually does for your body, right? Like, and you can feel it almost. Right?
Oh yeah, no, I feel more energized. I feel like
do you ever find it like when you go on like your real health kick and you're drinking veggie greens and you're eating proper nutrients all the time, and then when you jump back to like eating sugar again, it's like.
It makes you depressed and tired.
Sugar, it makes you tired and groggy and depressed. Yeah, like
it really does.
It's something your body obviously does not want, right?
Yeah,
like
it's definitely like I see where the addiction comes from it, because like you to get rid of that feeling when you're eating it is to have more. That helps get rid of that feeling. Like you get that energized, that shot of energy, but it disappears and. Got to do it again. Got to do it again. It's no different than anything else. But like, the doctor said that like he's like, I don't know what you've done, but you've done like an astronomical amount of effort here, and you've like totally changed your lifestyle around. I'm like, I really didn't. I just started doing veggie greens and
just small habits, right?
Small things, like cutting a little bit more of the like unrefined or having like more natural sugars like honey and coconut sugars and stuff if I'm gonna have any sugar in something, which has been helping out a lot.
Yeah.
And more fruits and no deep fried. That's really what I've been.
That's huge, eh?
Those 3 things have like literally changed.
Working around deep fryers all day.
It's fucking hard, man. You when you're having
the smell of wings gets me. It's so bad, and I just wish I didn't have to. Like
oh, I'm gonna have a Greek salad today, or I'm gonna have some fucking fries. Greek salad, fine. I'll have Greek salad. What can I do? Can I deep fry the Greek salad? Is that possible? Is that possible?
Throw some wings inside.
Like something. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I got that news back today, so that was fucking uplifting, and that was actually real
Awesome.
reassuring because I was going through. I'll put this up on the podcast. I'm not sure, but I think I might be going through like a midlife crisis of some sort.
Okay.
I really kind of feel that way. Like I've been looking it up as some of the ways that I've been feeling over the past couple weeks and past couple months. I've been looking up the stuff that you should look out for if this is a possibility.
Well,
And
how
like,
would you define a midlife crisis? What would you say?
midlife crisis? From what I was reading anyway, is like where you start questioning a lot of things that you would never question before. So like. How do I put this? Like, it's almost like a depression sort of state that things that are good don't seem good right now. Like
Right.
you almost look at it in a different light. So
Like you need a change.
yeah, like you need a change is how
Yeah.
it feels, and they're like there's no real way to like cure yourself of it. The best cure is just acceptance. Like this is gonna happen. You're gonna have
What
to
about
deal with it.
follow what the intuition says? Like, what do you feel like you need to change? Like, what do you?
I don't
do you have
know.
thoughts where you're like, this will enhance my life, or this will make you better? Do you
Sports
get that?
car.
Sports car does it.
Yeah,
I need
like,
to
is there
listen
something
to
like
Madonna.
this?
Like I'm gonna start listening to Madonna and getting sports cars. I don't know. I can't really explain it. I kind of feel that way. Like there needs to be some sort of big change, and I can't figure out what it is. Work is good. I've got a good job. I've got a great wife. I've got a great life for the most part. But like I kind of just feel that like I'm stuck in this apartment,
Yeah.
with these great things, but like
Yeah.
this, I think that's the big thing. I think moving out of this apartment is really going to help me a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm trying to aim towards.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it is, but
It could be.
I kind of feel that way a little bit. And like we're doing little changes here and there, and I'm not very good with changes. I have a hard time with changes, but I'm trying to embrace them as much as possible. So I don't know if that's what I'm going through right now, but I think I might be, because I had mentioned to you earlier in the week that I've been like going through a rut. So I started trying to investigate what it could be.
You know what?
I don't know if that's what it is,
It's going to
but
be really neat to talk about this again once you get back from your holidays.
yeah, I really do.
See if your outlook on life or yourself has changed since the holidays.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
I honestly think that a lot of times especially when you're sitting in an apartment like this and you got like clutter around, right, and a lot of things all around all the time, and you're on a routine, monotonous routine, right?
Yeah.
Like Monday to Friday, going to work. These are what I do on my days off. And your week stays basically the same. After a while, it's going to catch up with you, right? Like when you're doing the same monotonous thing all the time. I think it's like I guess you can call it a crisis, but I think at the same time, it's just also another way of your body just saying, like what you said, it's time for some change, baby, right?
Yeah, and
It's
that's kind of how I'm feeling
yeah.
about it.
It could just be a stepping stone.
Like one of the big things they said about when they call it a midlife crisis is it's not a crisis. You're the one making it a crisis.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to make this a crisis. It's all about acceptance, and it's all about being like, okay, this is something that's going to happen in your life. You're going to feel this way. You just kind of got to get over that hump and just keep going with it and like make those decisions properly. And it's right around my age too that they say, between mid 30s to like 40.
Do you think placebo even, like, if you digging into it even more, do you think
Might put it
helps,
further.
like, you believe that you're having a midlife crisis?
I don't know if I believe it yet,
Yeah.
but if I keep looking into it, I probably will convince myself that it is, whether it is or it isn't.
Just out of curiosity, when you were looking into it, did it say things that you could do to, like, help get through it? Or, like,
Not,
what is it? Like,
not
what
really.
is
They
it?
said acceptance is the biggest thing, from what I could tell. But I've only read like one article so far. I'm still gonna kind of look into it some more. But they said acceptance is like one of the biggest things, because denying that this is something that's happening to you, because almost everybody goes through it. Denial is going to make it worse. You're gonna find yourself getting further and deeper down that rabbit hole, I guess you can say. And being able to accept that this is what it is the first way to recovery from it too, because it's very similar to, but not necessarily a depression.
Right.
It's almost the same way. Like it just seems like everything isn't going right, and that's especially been happening over the past like couple months for me. Like I just and it's like nobody's fault, Like
Yeah.
it's just my mind kind of going that way. So I think maybe.
It's weird too how the like environment plays a big factor in these kind of things.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
It's like an example that you say is like a lot of people get depressed once winter starts again, right?
Yeah.
Like the days start getting shorter.
The
and
season
kind of-
changes.
Seasonal
changes, and
depression
then
is
seasonal
a
depression.
legitimate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing. So, but yeah, I think I'm not sure if I'm going through this right now. I'm looking into it, and like I'm good right now, and I'm really curious to see what's going to
I
happen
think,
in
I
a
think
couple
your
weeks from now.
vacation, honestly, like I'd love to hear you talk about it again in a couple weeks, and
Yeah, I'm
see how you're
definitely
feeling
looking-
after you get back from vacation, because like once you come and you're like, you realize that life isn't just all this Monday to Friday thing, right?
Yeah.
And coming home like there's more to life than that, and sometimes it's easy to get like blocked up into this. Even if you taking a day out, like one of your normal days, like Monday, where you typically go do your laundry and you do your grocery shopping, if you like ixnay that and you go do something weird and fun, like go to Gimli or go take a drive somewhere you've never been before, and you do something new, Sometimes that even is enough to like kickstart and make you get through the next week, right, with some excitement and some
change
some
it up a
motivation.
little bit.
But
And like,
it's so easy to get into this like monotonous Monday to Friday.
Oh yeah,
and it's easy to get caught up in your head in it. Like I know exactly where you're coming from, and I understand what you're saying. Maybe it's obviously on a different level, but
yeah. Well, I don't know about that even.
We'll
it was just looking into somebody very close to me said you could be going through a midlife crisis, and I never thought of it until they said that, and now. I'm like, oh well, maybe I'll look into that because it's a possibility. Like I never considered it, not even once until it was mentioned to me. I'm like, oh, that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Maybe I should kind of look into it. And I feel a little bit better being aware of it than not aware of it. I felt more lost not knowing what it could possibly be, and now I feel like I have a direction to look towards. If that makes a sense.
No, that makes sense. I think now is a good time for you to start jumping into, now that your health, like your doctor said all this great news about your health and stuff. Maybe it's a good time for you to start even doing that meditation more, doing the yoga and stuff a bit more, and being more self-aware on. Now let's follow those thoughts. Let's see what they're telling me, right?
Yeah,
It
like
sounds
actually,
like super hippie-ish.
No, but it's true. You should be listening to your body. Your body always tries to tell you things.
Body's always telling you things.
Yeah, it's just a matter of you wanting to listen to it, right?
I get in one of those ruts every couple of months, and what I find for me helps, and this isn't going to be good for everyone, but a psychedelic trip will really
I believe it.
help you
You're
focus.
taking yourself out and you're moving somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean to be giggling here, but you have the hair of that fucking guy from the Alien show right now. It's just a thing. You're like, psychedelic trips. I'm not trying to bring it up. Like, yes, you are. Sorry, you guys aren't seeing this hair.
Yeah, I just woke up. I literally just woke up like an hour ago.
But I agree with you, though. Like, it's being, like, the psychedelic trips is your body's taking you on there, right? Like, I mean, other than the thing that induced it, right?
Well, depending on the drug, but some of them, things like acid and mushrooms, are very introspective. So it's enough to get you to look at your life and realize how things are going and what you could be doing to make it different and better.
Yeah. I get those feelings lots too, where I feel like I'm just like, and that's usually me like having to take a vacation or go travel or something like that, where I get like antsy and I think like, okay, I'm just doing the exact same thing as I was doing like a month ago, right? Like what has changed in this month? And if I could say like nothing, then I just know that I'm just going to be like upset with myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, like I know time is the number one commodity. I know like how important it is, and like nothing has changed in this last month. So how am I growing? What am I even doing? And that puts me down. You know what I mean? Like I haven't traveled anywhere. I haven't educated myself. This is how this month's been, and it's easy to put myself in this position where where you look at yourself self-critically almost. Right?
Oh yeah, and
it's
that's exactly what's happening.
What am I doing? Right? What have I showed for this last?
And a good consciousness-shattering 15-minute DMT trip. Well, you bring you right back.
We really want you to fuck your mind for 15 minutes. Like really, really take.
There's no doubt it would probably help. Like I'm assuming it's
that stuff scares the shit out of me. I get to be perfectly honest. Like, not that I disagree with other people. I think that stuff is super important for people's development in life. But to me, it scares the shit out of me.
I mean, it scares the shit out of me. I still do it.
Yeah, well,
part of it is getting over your fear.
It's true.
Yeah,
that is definitely.
I think the same thing. I'm scared to do it. Like I definitely, no doubt, we've talked about it. I would like to try it at some point or another, but I'm the same way. It's like, it's a scary thing to think, right? Like that you're not really in control of your conscious anymore.
You
like,
should be scared of it, though. It's something you need to respect.
Right. Yeah.
I think being scared is a human emotion that's very important to your own development as well. Yeah, like not just trying these things, but like you need to be scared of these things. Like
we've talked about it in this podcast before, right? How important it is.
No one's scared of alcohol, and look at how easy it is for people to abuse alcohol.
It's
now, if they were scared of that, and if they were
with alcohol, I think a lot of these things is social influence, right? So, like, whether or not a drug is illegal, like, if you saw everyone walking around on DMT, and okay, they're alive, they're gonna be fine, they're not going on these like, if you saw everyone doing that, you'd be more inclined to do so. Just like liquor, right? Like, if no one did liquor, but the odd person did liquor, and they got all hooped up and weird and horny, and you know what I mean, all goofy. You'd be like, man, this guy's insane. But because everyone's doing it,
it's
everyone, and then you're put in an environment where everyone's like, think of it like a drug. Yeah, it's like everyone's doing alcohol. And they made things called bars where everyone the purpose of it is to sit in there and get fucked up. Like the point is to sit there and get hooped up. Imagine and that drug is no different from, like, say, if you were to do DMT, right? That's why in Amsterdam and stuff they have cafes where people go in there and they all smoke, but everyone's smoking, so it's kind of just like it's a regular thing there where you're not as afraid to do it, right? Like I remember when I was in Amsterdam doing it, it wasn't like you're afraid to because everyone else is doing it. Whatever you're having is good and it's a normal thing, right? But DMT isn't sanctioned like those other drugs are, right? So if like that's why it's almost scary is because you're not like I haven't seen too many people trip out on DMT, right? So if I did, like if there was a lounge that was committed to
DMT lounge.
Right?
That would be the place.
Then I'd be like, okay. And if I walked in there and I saw everyone tripping out, I'd be like, okay, I understand it. Like I can go on this level and I know that I'm going to be okay, right?
With
I can
people
see it
that
as
are
an
doing this
external
with me.
person.
Yeah.
But because it's like so rare and people do it in their private of their own homes and privacy of their own homes, it's you know what I mean?
It seems like a very private thing, though. You know,
it's easier to get scared of.
It's not
sure
something
it is.
you would do at a party.
Yeah, no. No, but
hey, you guys just do your thing. I'm gonna take some GMT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, though,
I'm gonna go into my own universe here. Don't bother me.
You just leave me alone. I might fucking just not be happy with you, so just stay away. Just stay away. But yeah, if you didn't know, this is Why the Fuck Not.
Oh,
this
God,
is
we're in our intro.
we just got to our intro right now. If you didn't know, this is Why the Fuck Not. Where three guys sit around one table and bring one topic of discussion for us to talk for a good hour for your amusement. Today's topic, we've been kind of like dabbling in it at the beginning of each episode for the past 4 episodes, but finally we're going to make a whole
we just
episode.
want to talk about it.
Video games. It's time to talk about some video games, and I think Aaron and I got a lot of experience on that, and you're kind of like, you got some from the past, and you kind of have this little block that you're not, and
yeah.
I looks like you're kind of interested again, so.
Oh, of course, like video games are awesome, man. I could always, like the only thing with video games for me is it's easy to get obsessed with them. It's easy to just dive yourself into that virtual world and just like not get out of it. Where it's like, so I have a very addictive personality. So when I played video games, it was like I'd play the video game until, like Counter-Strike and all those, Final Fantasy even, for example, right? Like I downloaded this game and I'll play it until it's done. Like I'll commit 30 hours
shit
in
out
a
of it,
week,
yeah.
30 hours in a week, which is like excessive. The only thing is now that I'm scared that if I get into these games again, like if I had a console, right? That's why I had to get rid of them all, because if I had another one of a PC, I know what I would do. I would easily, instead of doing exercise or instead of this, I know I would easily choose video games because I love video games. I'm
in the same boat. Like I love them. I haven't been playing them as much lately, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if it's because I don't have time for it or if that was the other thing about the midlife crisis. They say you start losing interest in things that always has interest in you, and I haven't been playing them as much, and I just haven't had the interest as like I used to, and I probably should with the amount that I have.
You got so many video games. I would never leave this apartment.
But what I have been playing lately, which has been a little bit of a controversial subject in video games, is Friday the 13th, the game. You guys haven't heard of this game? If you have, great. If not, here's the premise of it. 8 online people get together in one room. The match starts, and as soon as it starts, one of those 8 people become Jason Voorhees from the movie, and the other 7 become camp counselors. And your objective is to survive. So the video starts off with Jason killing one counselor. He hits the ground. It's just it's an NPC. Hits the ground, and then it starts up, and the counselors now have to scramble around and loot for shit, so they can find pocket knives. If you get a pocket knife and Jason grabs you, can jab it in his throat, and he'll have to let you go. Let go, and then he can let you run away. You can find machetes kicking around. You can find firecrackers, which will like distract Jason if you're chasing after you. Just toss him behind. There's maps that you have no map, so if you find a map, it'll let you see where things are. You can actually find Jason's cabin, like where he keeps the head of his mother from the movie and stuff. But you can get Jason's mother's sweater, which will distract Jason. It's all about distraction to get off the island, essentially, or off the.
Have you ever played Dead Island or Left 4 Dead?
Left 4 Dead, yeah, I have played Left 4 Dead, yeah.
Or Dead Island?
Dead Island, yeah. Dead Island's the one with the first person zombie one on the resort or whatever it is. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's a great game.
That's what I think about when you're talking about this game.
The difference is this. Yeah, it's a 20-minute match, so you only get 20 minutes per game. It's your objective is to either escape or last the 20 minutes. If you can last the 20 minutes, and Jason can like go into these like different modes where he can like see things, like he'll see movements and he'll hear things. If he goes into the sense mode, it'll glow red in this one area, so he can just fucking warp over to that area and try and find somebody that's there and kill him.
Is it a player that's Jason? Like,
player's Jason. Player's Jason.
So it's not a computer where everyone else is
randomly selected of who's going to be Jason in that. But you can choose from 8 or 7 different Jasons, because each one has different stats. One can sense things better. One can hold somebody better, because you can break free if he's holding you. So there's like different things that each one can do. Really fucking cool game. Awesome game. I bring it up, however, because the topic that I'm bringing in for the first part of the video game is that this thing was a fucking dumpster fire at the beginning. People couldn't get into the menus. It was so bad. So I had a friend who purchased this game, $52 or $56 to buy it. Couldn't play the game for the first 4 days because he couldn't even get to the start menu. For whatever reason, they thought it was a good idea to make it that you have to get online and then you go into the menu, and then you click on to start trying to get into a match. So you have to go online first.
Right.
And they believed off of their beta testing, because they had some beta testing on it, that there was about 5,000 users at one time playing. So they said, oh, well, if we do 30,000 people, like set up the servers to be able to handle 30,000 people, we should be fine. Anyway, day one happened, 75,000 people downloaded this thing because it's fucking Jason and it's a really cool like concept of a game. About 75,000 people bought it, tried to get on. Nobody could get on because the servers were so fucking flooded. And then PlayStation's like, oh, look at how much money we're making from selling this game. Let's put it on the front page of our fucking thing. So they put it on the front page of the online fucking store, and everybody else started buying it. So it became this fucking dumpster fire of like people trying to get on.
So when they did like the beta testing, like was it like how early was it released opposed to when the game was released?
Well, the beta testing was last summer. Because it was supposed to release in October of last year.
So it was pushed back.
Yeah, it got pushed back till this past, I think it was like 3 weeks ago that I got pushed back to. And they're like, oh, we just want to put in a single player mode and some other stuff so you don't have to be online. You can play the single player mode, which isn't part of the game yet. That's going to be released in a patch later. My topic right now is more based on people releasing video games way too fucking early. And just to kind of like, one, to serve the public because the public outcries for it, especially every time it gets pushed back. And I think we've mentioned it before, but there's a game called No Man's Sky that came out. When they pushed it back for 1 month, they got death threats from people that were so upset that they couldn't play this fucking game. So my question is, when's it too early? Like, why are we getting these games this fucking early and spending this type of money? And I'm assuming you probably have a lot to kind of like put towards this, Aaron, because Aaron's kind of done enough early access games and stuff like that. Like it's
a big thing on the PC. A lot of the games these days, they're selling early access games, which means like, hey, you can come be a tester, and this means you're playing the game before it's a beta, and usually the game's half done and they're still working on stuff. And some games that works out for, like in Rust, there's been probably 5 different iterations of Rust. That game's been in early access for like 5 years now. I still enjoy it. It's still a really fun game, but I don't think that's the model we should be going for.
Well, like at 5 years, is that seriously early access? It's just a fucking game at this point. Like that's the game. Like, are they ever going to release it as a game? Like, well, all they are is just going to slap the name on it and give you a box. That's what I see that to become a game.
Totally.
Well, I mean, they were trying to make it good, and then like so many things kept happening, and they had to change things because the community was upset. I honestly have no idea if it's ever going to be fully released, but like I had a lot of fun with this game, so I can't talk too much shit about it. But if you look at other games like DayZ, where it's the same sort of thing, someone made a mod for Arma that got really popular, where it was like a zombie survival game. And that was called DayZ. And then some studio was like, alright, we're going to make this into a real game. Or like a standalone game. So then there came DayZ Standalone, which you could buy as an early access like 4 years ago. I bought it like maybe 2 years ago. And it's like, the amount of changes that have happened in it since is like minuscule. The game is garbage. It's broken. It's never going to be a real game. And they're basically selling you vaporware, where they're like, hey, look at this game that's going to be great in, say, 6 years. Why don't you give us money for it now? And then, like, everyone does, and nothing ever comes with the game.
And that's been happening a lot lately, like, with a lot of different games, I feel, anyway.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Isn't it funny, I think, with games, though, too? Like, a lot of, like, the BlizzCon and, like, a lot of the big games have just been, like, classic games that were, like, released almost properly, I would say.
Yeah.
And the patches almost ignored, and then the classic game just like dominating kind of the industry. You know what I mean? Like when you look at like StarCraft,
there's so many remakes.
Warcraft, you look at World of Warcraft, you look at Counter-Strike, you look at like all those games. It was like Counter-Strike. They still use what we were talking about the other day, like 1.6 maps. They use the original maps still for like competitions because they were like the properly made maps. They were like the most even across the board, right? Like they didn't rush release the game, right? Like it was proper when it came out, right?
And now it seems like everyone's rushing games. And there's another thing with all these DLCs. It seems like they're making a full game and then cutting out like a third of it and
That's
selling
already
it to you.
created, yeah.
Yeah, and selling it to you as a
exactly,
DLC.
yeah.
See, the one thing I will.
It's almost like that pays the freemium games. It's
Freemium,
almost like the
yeah.
same idea,
Basically.
right? Like it's
Close,
like,
yeah.
you know, like it's if you want this extra map, which everyone's obviously gonna want. It doesn't matter which game.
Yeah, it
Like,
doesn't matter,
it's
yeah.
like- So let's say if you want this extra map, which should have already been a part of the game because the game was only released
It
with
probably
3
was
maps, or
at
probably
one point.
was.
Yeah,
it's
and they
like-
just took it off and like, oh, we're gonna
So
charge
now
these
you
people.
can't play with the rest of the society. If you want to be on this level with this game, and if you want to play the game complete, you have to download it, right? It's not
Yeah.
even an option. It's like this is an attachment of the game, a wing of the game that you have to download
It's like
in order to play it
Battlefield.
properly.
Battlefield's fun, but like you're not gonna get the full experience unless you buy Battlefield Premium,
Yeah, I was gonna say the
which
same
is
with Modern Warfare.
another
right? It's-
$60.
Yeah,
That's
Exactly.
fucking insane, the price
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah, it's insane.
There's a couple companies out there that have, I think, are doing it right. Bethesda is a very good example of doing it right because
Yeah,
Bethesda will
Fallout.
release a game that's 100% done. You don't see a DLC from Bethesda for almost a year.
Well, it should be like that, right?
Yeah, because they're developing the next part
Yeah.
of the game
The
after they've
DLC
released
should
it.
be game changing.
Yeah, something completely
Just like
different.
all the Fallout DLCs and Skyrim DLCs. They're
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
like, hey, here's a skin.
They're like something else, like
Look at-
something, some meat to it.
Look at those Injustice games. You can buy the regular game for $70, or you can buy like the deluxe game for $100.
That gives you all the extra characters that are going to be coming out, plus the one that they held back on.
Yeah, and there's nothing different. It's cosmetic items. It's all skins and shit.
Yeah.
That's
It's like,
all it is.
why?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
really make any big differences on there. But another really good company for it is CD Projekt Red. They're the
Witcher.
yeah, the Witcher people. The Witcher came out with 2 downloadable, payable DLCs that adds. The first one added 20 hours to the game, 20 fucking hours to your game, which is an already 200+ hour game. If you
DLC
beat
is
it,
downloadable content. Just
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
no
that's
one
what
knows.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
we're-
Sorry.
yeah, that's a good point. But 20 extra hours on one of them, and I think the other one was up to about 30 hours. On top of that, they gave well over $150 worth of extra content for free to everybody that bought the game. So every
Yeah.
time a new update download would come out with new weapons and like the skin things that we're talking about, they just gave it to them for free. And then when it came down to being an actual DLC, they made sure it was a whole new map with a whole bunch of new fucking storylines. They changed the look of it for those maps. It became more colorful than the dark,
Well,
dreary
'cause
maps.
now it's
Like,
almost not enough money to just release a game and not have DLC.
well,
Yeah,
Right? Like
exactly.
you make so much more money by having
one
by
good
jipping players and people basically.
One good example of making money afterwards is Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 has literally been out for almost 6 years now. I think it's 6 years. They are still the leader of
That
like
was the last
sales.
game I played actually.
Grand
on
Theft Auto
console
5?
that I owned. And I
Yeah,
played it
fantastic
regular.
game.
It
It's
was
really
That
fucking
was a
good.
long time ago, yeah.
But that game is still one of the number one month-to-month sellers today, 5
That's
years later,
insane.
and
because of
instead of
All the
doing paid
DLC?
DLCs, they're doing patches where they're just
It's
giving
free.
people shit.
Oh,
like
awesome.
they
Yeah.
released a patch
Keeps
online.
the game current and keeps
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
fun,
for the online that they have, they just released something that's almost like a Hot Wheels racing. So like, there's like they have fucking tracks going through all the city that go
Oh,
into the
cool.
sky and shit. Free, you can just fucking have it.
Cool.
Whereas Forza Horizon literally just came out with a DLC that cost $30, I think $20 or $30. That's the exact same thing. All they did was just send you to an island that has a whole bunch of fucking tracks going through the skies and stuff like that. You do jumps and stuff.
Which I mean,
Exact
it took
same
someone
thing.
like a couple hours to make.
Yeah, it's a track editor, really.
you're
All
using
those
the-
tools were already available
Yeah.
because that's how they made the game.
Yeah.
Like if they did that shit for free, I bet you they'd sell it. Like the Grand Theft Auto or Rockstar has really built the model of what you can do if you do it properly. Like they still, I believe they've done 85 million copies of that game. That's
is
They've
fucking
done amazing.
insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
we were talking about Grand Theft Auto the other day, and we were talking about like how even good, like how when Vice City came out,
Fuck
like,
that! It
that
felt
was
like you were in
like-
the 80s.
it felt like you
Oh,
were in
yeah.
the '80s. That game was amazing for its time. Like when it came out, it was like an open world concept. You could do anything, right? Like you could.
I put that shit as one of the most important games to have ever come out
And
because
San
it changed
Andreas.
things. Yeah.
San
Andreas
too,
as well.
Great follow up.
Another one that felt like it was in the 90s. I spent more time on San Andreas than I did on any other game in my life. Like, this was
Yeah.
back when I used to just get stoned all the time with my buddy. I just go over there for hours on end. We would just cruise around. We wouldn't even
Yeah.
really be doing anything
Yeah.
storyline. We'd just have fun. We'd fuck
There's
around
so many
with it.
side quests. There's so many
That's
random
because-
things you could do.
Yeah.
It was-
I think it's because they took the time to make the map feel lived in and
Yeah.
livable.
It feels alive.
Go play
Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2 and just like get to the part where you have to like go and explore their map. Like it's supposed to be like San Francisco, It's dog shit.
It just doesn't feel like anybody's alive. Like nobody lives there. The Mafia 3 was another one.
It feels like Spider-Man 2 for like fucking like PlayStation.
Yeah, like a couple people here and there.
Yeah,
and
like it's ridiculous.
It just doesn't feel lived
Vice
in.
City, you feel like there's a million other lives going on at the same
Yeah,
time.
there's tons of people walking around. There's people doing their own shit.
Yeah.
I think Grand Theft Auto really nailed it best because what they were trying to do was like streamline everything. So they gave you your 3 characters, right, that you can switch between.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why they did that, well, one, they tried dabbling with like having 3 intertwining stories with Part 4 with the DLCs that they did, where it was like Battle of Gay Tony and the Lost, the biker one. I can't remember the name of it right now. Where they intertwined. Well, this one they wanted to jump between all 3 of these people. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you're in the desert as Trevor doing a bunch of shit and you want to go to the city, you don't have to trek 20 minutes into the city driving there. You can just switch to a character that's probably in their territory doing shit. And they keep those guys alive.
Wicked character.
I loved switching to Trevor, and he'd just wake up on a fucking island in his underwear with, like, dead people. Fucking
beer bottles everywhere.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
like,
fantastic.
That game...
They made the characters, like, enjoyable.
Yeah,
and it's crazy how big the maps are that they were just still finding Easter eggs like recent. Like they still like there's still like discoveries being made in this game. Like,
it's one of the alien thing is a big thing.
Years.
Yeah, they purposely put stuff in there so it's always relevant. And like I think they learned that back in the original San Andreas because there was one myth that everybody talked about but nobody could find, and that was finding Bigfoot. Because like Bigfoot's in this game. He isn't actually in the game, but that myth went fucking like AWOL. Like it just went everywhere. Everybody's like, oh, we gotta find Bigfoot. He's in here. He's in here. Like Rockstar
to the point
came
where
out.
They put him in GTA 5.
Actually, they put him in Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
And then they put him in GTA.
Oh, that's right.
Red Dead Redemption actually has a Bigfoot.
Game too, actually.
And that's fantastic. That's another Rockstar game.
Another one.
The new one.
Are they?
Yeah, the other one just got
Western...
pushed.
Oh man, that was.
And they're planning on making that map huge, which I think is fucking great. Yeah. But like the Red Dead Redemption series is another great one that like they pushed and people were kind of a little like, okay, let's put it this way: No Man's Sky gets pushed, everybody's pissed and fucking angry. No, Rockstar pushes something like, oh, okay, that's fine. Sure, you're gonna make it better. What you're doing when you're making it so that we have the best fucking experience we can possibly have when we get it, and they don't care if you push it for a year. Most people, when it comes to like Rockstar or something.
That like when they came out with GTA 5 and it was only on console for a year, I was pissed.
Because PC, it took almost 2 years for PC, didn't it?
Yeah. Like, which was retarded. Like, don't do shit like that.
Yeah, you gotta understand that sometimes they get a lot of backing from the consoles themselves, money-wise, right?
I get that. But if you want to make the game to its full potential, you gotta do it on PC.
I am a strong believer that you build it to PC and port it to the consoles. That makes the most sense. But they haven't been doing that. Like the Batman game is a very good example, and this is another rush to market. That got recalled from PC. They were giving everybody any refund for that. If you wanted a refund, you could have. It didn't matter how long you played for it, because it was fucking terrible. Like the frame rates hit less than I heard like less than 20 at some points.
Yeah,
it got so bad. 20 FPS, which is frames per second.
Yeah.
Usually there's 60 frames in 1 second that you see to make the animation, and it was doing less than 20, so it would like be jittery and jumpy everywhere on PC.
Usually. If you're on a PlayStation or a PS4, your maximum is going to be 45.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, not now. They have the newer ones that go a little bit higher than that, like the Pro and the Scorpio.
Yeah, those get up to like 50. Those still can't hit 60 FPS. Yeah. But like when people play on PC, they expect at least 60 frames per second because it looks way fucking better.
It's smooth. It's almost sickeningly smooth if you're not used to it. You know, like it can really make you like almost your stomach turn because it's like, whoa, this is really smooth. Which happens with which is why VR. If you have under the amount of frames per second that you need for it to work properly, you'll start making you sick and like making things worse.
VR has to be around 90 frames per second at least.
Which is amazing how the PlayStation VR works as well as it does, and you don't get sick from it. Like, I don't think it hits 90. It's still got to be less than 90.
Well, it could be 90. It's just it's a much smaller resolution. Yeah. So it's a lot less pixels.
But that's what I'm trying to say is that like a lot of people have been like pushing this shit out and just trying to get the quick buck on it, whereas the real money is held within the people that are like, oh, I'm not going to release something that's shit. I'm going to hold it until it's fucking done. Like,
whatever happened to quality work? Like, why wouldn't you just put everything you can in one game?
Because of patches.
That's not how people make money.
I honestly think it's because of patches. I think patches is one of the worst things that could have happened to the game industry because
patches are fine.
Well, they're not anymore because people are like, oh, we'll just fix it in a patch later.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
true.
That's what's been happening.
They're waiting. They're not putting
It's an
out a
excuse
working
to
game.
release games.
Yeah, they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll get it fixed.
They
It'll
fix it
happen
in a patch.
eventually. Like, yeah, fix it beforehand. There was a time that you couldn't do patches. You had to have your finished game on the market. It had to be done. Like, and that wasn't that too many generations
just
ago.
come when like
Yeah.
hackers would come in and they need to like fix it. Right?
Yeah,
there was,
they
like-
have to, or if
Yeah.
someone finds a game-breaking exploit.
Yeah.
We're talking 2 generations. It's been since we haven't, like, that's how long we've had patches, and it's. I honestly think this could end up being a downfall towards the video game industry. Like, if anything's going to break the video game industry, it's going to be that.
I mean,
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying if it does, I think that's the thing that's going to do it.
there's been patches on PC basically since we had internet.
Well, true. I'm talking console-wise, but yes,
Yeah.
there has always been modification or mods and patches. For those that don't know, mods are like usually user-generated stuff that people can like change around, like a fucking Macho Man on the fucking Dragons in Skyrim, which is like one of my favorite mods of all time. Fucking hilarious.
Fallout 4, the Paladin dance is Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite mods.
Golden-eyed big heads.
yeah. Like there's a whole bunch of them.
Kumbas.
It's fucking great, but
And
like I
those
mean,
are finally coming to console now. Like,
Yeah,
they
we can do
just
that.
started getting support for mods.
to a degree, like it's a little strange because PlayStation really has a stranglehold on those type of things, right? Like if you go to Fallout 4, if you go to the Xbox version, which I have, almost every single mod that's on PC you can get. Almost, there's a few that you can't because they're just too big or they require several mods to work. But almost everything on the Xbox. If you go to the PlayStation made a rule, which is why it took almost a year for mods to come out after the Xbox, that it has to be within the game's code already.
What?
You can't mod anything unless it's already in the game's code.
So you can't add anything.
You can't add anything.
That's dumb.
And that's because they're scared of them doing like nude codes or
I
stuff
honestly,
because they've approved what's on the game.
this is
already.
almost a debatable thing. Like, I know you obviously like mods.
I
Is
love
what you're
mods.
saying. Whereas, like, I hate mods. Like,
Why?
I think mods ruin games to me.
They
To
can,
me,
yeah.
the authenticity of the game, like, relies
Okay, hold on.
in like I will.
Okay,
I've quit
look at
games-
Half-Life.
Listen, I've quit. I've quit games. I've honestly quit games when mods have gone out of control and like it's available to the public.
There's
Like, I've quit games because
there's
of it.
two different battles here. Okay, there are mods. There are total overhaul mods that you're talking about, which completely changes the game. Then there are other mods which are almost necessary. There are mods that I use for older games that don't support the resolution
Yeah,
I'm playing.
that jumps it up.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay,
there's
Like
so
if
many-
you if you
sure,
look at
okay.
original Half-Life 2 and go to Half-Life 2 now, it's
Big
it almost looks like a new generation game. Like
Yeah.
they've got
But
it up
you
to
can
the point.
almost like so that mod is almost an update.
It is. It's absolutely what
so,
it is.
like,
but it's
sometimes-
user generated.
Yeah, sometimes it's made by a third person, or there's mods that they'll this comes out for almost every game, like Fallout.
Ah, I think I know
There's
what you're
mods
talking
where they'll replace the textures for it and make it higher resolution.
Another one that I thought was really good about the Fallout, and this is another user-generated one, is there's a lot of things that needed to be fixed with Fallout because it's a big game. It's going to have some problems, and that's notorious for any of the Bethesda games because
Yeah,
how
yeah,
big it is.
bugs.
There's user-generated mods that fix those bugs,
Yeah.
so that you don't get stuck in these missions that you're fucked. There's they called it the Essential Fallout mod,
Yeah.
and that you put that on it's on all consoles. All it does is just fix all the problems that you had, and that Bethesda can't do because they have so much stuff that they have to do already.
So it's almost like a user patch.
Yeah,
It's exactly what it is.
It's a patch to fix things that they would have to go back and release a patch for.
Right.
So
Okay, so that's all good. That's
that
fine.
but you
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 don't like
understand
that.
what I'm saying?
I
That's a
know,
huge
I get what
part.
you're saying. Like you can have like these stupid like everything explodes
Like I'm
mods
looking
and,
at like even like Diablo 2, Diablo 3, like an awesome series that I've talked about a million times
Yeah.
because I love Diablo. Both games were almost ruined because of some of the mods that were included.
So
with it,
describe
right?
the mod that you did that made
if
you
it's
get
a
away
mod
from
that's
it.
Or if you call
included
it,
with
like-
it, it's not necessarily a mod anymore.
Are you talking?
Okay.
Like,
Well-
what kind of mods are you talking?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious. What mod was the thing that got you off of it?
Okay, well, so like I don't even know if you categorize as a mod if we're talking about Diablo 2, but like there was like anytime you play single player, anytime you wouldn't go on the online, if you weren't on BattleNet, if you were doing the single
Yeah.
player mod, you could single player mod. I can say that. Well, where like you can have infinite gold, right? Or
Yeah.
you can have
Yeah, that ruins shit.
Okay.
right.
cheating
Whereas,
mods,
so
yes.
it's like So,
So those
at
are
that
cheats.
point, it's
Okay.
like okay, cheats or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's still a mod, right? Like
It
a
is a
cheat's
mod.
right?
I get that.
So
But
say if like that was happening, and now that you're playing with everyone who has Infinite Gold, where you're trying to play the game the natural way, where you're trying to like, you know how hard it is to earn gold, but then you got someone who's throwing in this cheat mod. Right?
They have done fixes for that. Grand Theft Auto is a very good example
there are
of this.
vanilla servers.
Grand Theft Auto will not let you on.
But they have to make one after. Like the server will get corrupt, and then they'll almost make another server, right?
I
I'm
mean,
just saying it delays. It ruins.
Those mods
it ruins
are
the authenticity
optional,
of the game sometimes.
and there are ways to avoid it.
Grand Theft Auto is a really good example of this, and the reason why is because they will only allow, like, they allow mods on single player. If you go into the multiplayer with a mod, you get kicked. You're not allowed in there anymore.
What if you're
Most
talking
games are
about?
like that.
What if you're talking about competitive gaming though? I'm gonna throw this at you. So say if you're talking about competitive gaming and you throw some funky mods into like StarCraft or something like that, isn't it easy to just get deferred to the game with the new mod on now, where you can build shit really fast, or you can, do you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is.
All these competitive games are only vanilla.
Yeah, they have to be vanilla. They have to, like, because like
everyone
they
has to
set
be
their
running
stuff,
the exact same shit.
Okay.
yeah, it's super important if you're doing anything like they don't allow the cheating on like competition level.
No, of course, but
yeah, like,
but do you think like say if you were a super good gamer and this mod came out and you got lost into this mod,
you could lose the vanilla part of the game. Like you would like
Sure,
not be.
That's exactly what it
But
is.
I don't see this as a bad thing, because this has created so many games. This is how Counter-Strike was made.
Yeah,
Counter-Strike is made based off of Half-Life.
Yeah, it would. The game didn't exist without it.
That's true.
And Gary's mod. Okay, there's so many games now where the people take like Fallout and then they do a completely new mod where they change everything in the game and make a new game. And those are massively important.
Skyrim's mod network that you can do now. Steph has been able to extend her play exponentially. Like they have new storyline missions and stuff. You can just go and play. That's just added things, and they built a whole new like universe within those little things. So like you go into this cave, and this cave is like got a whole town inside of it that has like 20 extra missions. So she's been like extending her play on that.
Life to the game.
It can, if done properly. But I think that the responsibility comes on the user to use the right things.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like you can get the ones that you don't like, where you're like, oh, I've got infinite this, or I got infinite run, I got infinite stamina, I can hold as many, I don't get over encumbered. Yeah. Which is a very common one. But you lose out on the game, and that's your choice as the player. Yes. Right? In competition level, that's not your choice, because the runner of the competition is the one that kind of like makes that type of decision.
They'll have set stuff like where you can only do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I get that.
When it comes
I guess
to
the
gaming,
point I was trying to make was like, say if someone like, say if I was, this is just an example. Say if I love Diablo 2 and I wanted to compete in it, but then like they came out with this mod a while ago where you can get unlimited gold and whatever. So like it's obviously for me it's going to be a funner track to take this like unlimited gold, whereas I lose potential in the actual game itself because I get lost in this like. And this is where I'm on the boat. This is what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
This is where I'm going to paddle the boat with you here, because I agree with you. There's everybody knows Minecraft. They have this like infinite mode or whatever it is, where you just you can do whatever you want with it. You just pick the block and do it.
Why would you go from that? Exactly. After going from that, how do you go to?
I don't even want to go back and play it. Yeah, and I get
exactly
that.
What I'm saying. Yes,
I do. I absolutely agree with that, and that's my example of it. Is like Minecraft. I might have liked if I didn't have that infinite mode where I just fucked around, and now I'm back to the other.
Everything just seems slow after you've been there, and it's
that's
like,
true.
How do you?
That's what. Yeah, it's up to you. That's what I usually do whenever there's a game that I like Fallout. I'll do one playthrough vanilla where I don't use any mods. Then the next one I'll do a modded playthrough, and then I'll do a different modded playthrough.
Yeah, like a broken playthrough where
where you have like 100 mods, and all the mud crabs have top hats and monocles.
Which is fucking great, by the way.
Yeah,
I like
which I can see would be fun too. Yeah, but I just the argument would be it's almost killing the authenticity of the game.
I am on the same boat, but you know what?
Some people don't have tons of time to throw in, so they have to put on these mods to make it easier.
Me not liking Minecraft is on me though, because I was the one that decided to do that, and
it's a preference.
Yeah. Totally, I made that choice, and it totally ruined the game for me in that sense. So
I've broken hundreds of games by modding them, just putting too many mods in them, and then they're just like, no, this is...
It just completely fucked from that point.
Yeah, Skyrim. Did that so many times with Skyrim.
Well, Skyrim's one of those games that, like, once you've beaten it, and then you've beaten it the second time, then you've beaten it the third time, you know everything that's in the game at this point.
You can do whatever the fuck you want.
So just have some fucking fun with it. Like, I get... And that's where the good side of mods are, and I like that consoles are starting to kind of embrace the PC race on it. You know, like this is something that's always been PC almost exclusive. But now consoles allowing it, it's a step in the right direction for consoles, because consoles kind of need to go the way of PC.
They really do,
and they're trying to by the looks of things. Which brings me on to another talk that I have here is E3 talk. We have E3 coming up right around the corner, and
next
Xbox
week?
has it's next week, and Xbox has Project Scorpio is the code name for it right now. We're expecting, rumor-wise, that they're going to be releasing the name of this console, release date for this console, because it's supposed to be out this year. It's supposed to be out before Christmas. And is this the next generation, or is this just going to be like PS4 Pro, which is just kind of like a baby step above what the last one was? So that's like,
Jesus.
Is it going to be more like a PC? Is it going to be like, what are they doing with this? And I think a lot of people are hoping more like a PC aspect, but I don't think they're going to do it.
From everything Microsoft is saying, is they're trying to push 4K.
Heavily, but they're not using a proper 4K. It's like an 4K upscaling, is what I've heard.
It's always going to be, when you're talking about consoles, it's always only going to be upscaled. There's no way they can get native 4K at even 30 frames per second with that type of hardware.
So what would they have to do to get there?
They would need a PC.
Well, no, there's got to be a way. It would just be super expensive, right? Like,
yeah, like it's the you can build an awesome PC for a $500 price point, but it's just consoles are designed and manufactured in a way to cut corners and just make shit cheaper. Like a computer has a processor and it has a video card. Consoles have both of those on one chip, on an SoC. It's called a system on a chip, or an APU, which is an accelerated processing unit. They're basically just trying to cram everything into the smallest little space they can, and that's going to give them huge problems.
See, like the way I look at consoles is almost based off of restrictions almost all the time.
Yeah.
Because like almost every console has their restrictions. You can't go on our console unless we've approved this, and so on and so forth, because they feel that it's a brand name. And technically, if you read the user agreement on your consoles, you don't really own your console. Technically,
no.
what that user agreement basically says is like, we are giving you a license to play our games on our console. But there was just recently a court case that I can't remember what it was. It was something that had nothing to do with fucking consoles, but it totally affects consoles. It might have been something stupid like a toothbrush or something that somebody bought and used it for a different means to make some money off of it, and they tried suing them. But over the course of the whole court case, they found out that, or they got ruled that as soon as the purchase has happened, you own this, regardless of what user agreement you put on there, regardless of anything you do, you own this, and what you do with it is your choice, which is gonna fucking destroy consoles if that happens.
That would set a huge precedent for things like cell phones, because you don't own your cell phone, you're renting a cell phone.
Yeah, it's essentially no matter what you pay, like all these electronics and stuff, we technically don't own. Technically, we're allowed to basically do what we want for the most part, but if they don't like what you're doing, they can take it back.
If you break the EULA, if you break the end user license agreement, that thing that no one reads, in any way, technically you've committed a felony and you can be thrown in jail for like 10 years.
But at this point, with this new case that has happened, is saying that no, when you buy this, you own it. It's not.
I see Microsoft chiming in about this soon, because even when you're paying $100-$200 for a Microsoft 7 or a Windows 7 license, you're still renting that license. That's not yours. Technically, you don't have the right to make changes to the operating system.
No, it's true. And right now, from what I understand, what made this case work is Costco, like the fucking Costco, the store, found out that it was happening and supported the guy that was getting sued for doing something. Really? I can't remember what it was, but Costco had it. And the reason why they did is because they want this to be an actual thing where they own it. So like a lot of the things that they carry is owned by them, so they can stand to make more money off of it. What this kind of does is disallows, like it also does region locks, like you're not going to be able to buy it. Like Costco can't buy shit from Europe and bring it here and fucking sell it because of this. And this allows Costco to buy from wherever the fuck they want and sell it wherever the fuck they want. And that's going to that's why their interest peaked on this and put the money towards like helping this case go forward, which is going to again help out the consoles. Does this like change a lot of things for us? Like, oh, can we mod a fucking console so that we can like pirate games? No, you can't. That's still illegal to pirate a video game and stuff. But you can do what you want with your console. You know, if you want to mod your console, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, they did have this argument during the whole console modding when that first came about. They're like, hey, you can't do this. You don't own your console.
Yeah, and they've been trying to do that.
Sparked from.
It might have been from that. I wish I could remember the product that they were actually like that, what they went off of for that. But yeah, it was something strange that kind of like changed that whole kind of aspect of it. So I don't know.
What's this new system called again?
The new
Project
system,
Scorpio.
Project Scorpio for the Xbox.
That's just a code name right now.
That's it's going to change.
So it's like just a new Xbox.
Well, here's the best way to explain it. The PlayStation Pro that we have now was originally called PlayStation Neo. Okay. So lots of things get code names before they actually come out with the actual name. So Scorpio is what we know this as right now. But by the time E3 comes around, which is like right away, it's going to have a totally different name. Maybe it'll be fucking or maybe it'll be Xbox 2 or Xbox whatever, you know, like whatever. Maybe they're going backwards, because they've been going backwards. Xbox 0 or some shit. Who knows what they're going to call it? But it looks like
4 and 1.
Is it necessary to like for a new console to come out to obviously for games obviously getting better and better? Is it necessary to keep updating systems like every 2 years, 3 years? Or
we're looking at about 4-year cycle at this point. Yeah, it used to be about a 12-year cycle for a system before it dies, on average, and then it kind of cut down a little bit. It went down to about 8.
Is it because you just need a better processor and you just keep up with the games?
It's following the same shit with computers. Basically.
The difference with computers, though, is that you can just upgrade them. You can make them better. Like you don't need to buy a whole new computer.
To a certain extent, there's a point where like the chipset will be different. But
you're just constantly upgrading. Like you
can buy a better video card to be able to play a better game, right? Like instead of buying a whole new computer, right?
Like at some point, you'll need to buy a new motherboard because the PCI Express.
At some point, but it's not going to be every 3 years, right?
Yeah, whereas consoles, it's all jammed into
upgrade
one spot.
Cycle for computers is more like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And for us right now, it looks like it's going to be every 4 years is what it's kind of come down to. You know, PlayStation 4 has really only been around for about 4 or 5 years right now. Xbox One, same deal, 4 or 5 years right now. And they're already doing the next step on them. Like I bought the PS4 Pro, which is the next step. Yeah, you can still play all your PlayStation 4 games that come out on the Pro on the original one, but it's still the next step so that you can play it on your native 4K TV that I have, you know, or the Xbox looks like it's going to be a very big change on it.
Well, we were talking about like video games coming out early and being pre-released almost a little too early. What about consoles? It was the same thing, right? Like like PS4 was the same deal. I remember when like PS4 came out, it was like you had two games that you could like pick from.
Yeah,
like, it was
Switch.
The launch was terrible.
The Switch still only has one good game.
Oh no, the Switch has got better games now.
Oh, does it?
Oh yeah, it's got some good games.
Like, how is that? Do you know what I mean? So like everyone's getting pre-released, everyone's buying these things, waiting in lines, sitting in tents outside of game shops to get these things, and now they're able to play one game that still needs a bunch of patches on it. The system needs a bunch of updates on it, and it's like you can't even just take the system, go home, and be able to play you know what I mean, the game.
The one game that they had.
The one game that they had, it was like you had to do system update right off the bat.
And every game is a day one patch now.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. Yeah,
exactly.
Every single one has like this one patch.
So it steps right up to the console itself being like pre-released, right?
Absolutely.
Like being released too early.
I'm like,
right?
I don't mean to shit on consoles because I'm sure that.
Yeah, you do. Don't even fucking stop lying to you.
This whole time.
I've been doing it lightly.
He's trying to be nice about it, but it's all right. We know you like PC. You don't like consoles. It's okay. We accept this. We like this.
When the PS4 came out, what was it? 5 years ago.
We'll say 5, just for argument's sake.
It was already a generation and a half behind. Behind PCs, and now they're like, all right. Xbox Scorpio, it's the latest and greatest. Still at least a generation and a half behind.
Let's guess right now. How many games are going to be released the day that this console's released?
Well, the big thing, right?
Let's talk
no.
20,
that's being very generous.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4's launch had 5 games, and one of them got pushed.
Like, what the fuck is that, man? Like, seriously.
And one of them was Knack, which was a shit fucking game. The Assassin's Creed 4 was supposed to come out for it, and it didn't. It got sent. That was the one that got pushed.
Wasn't one of them
Battlefield? The Battlefield, our first one, or Killzone. Killzone. That's what it was. Killzone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one got released with it, and then there was one other. I can't remember what it was. None of them were good though. None of them were.
Everyone sucked.
It was very shitty. I bought Knack, and I bought Well, it was supposed to be Assassin's Creed, but I ended up buying something else.
Well, I
can't
remember my
remember what it
friend
was.
bought a PS4 like the day it came out. And then like I had a PS3 still, and we would just play his PS3 games
On the
PS4.
PS4.
It was like, like, why did you buy this? Why did you have to go and buy this? Because PlayStation did nothing to really like
Hype it up and do it
hype
properly.
it up and encourage people to buy it because there's all these great games coming out. It was like
I think
buy
they,
it because it's new, and that was the only thing branding it. Right?
Don't
Like,
don't
it
buy
was-
anything first day.
No,
I've done it 5
we
times.
do have.
But I mean, I'm not going to complain though, because like for instance, the Switch. Yes, the Switch had one game, literally. It was just Zelda. That's all they had for like
And
a
it
month
didn't
and
That
a
was
half.
enough to sell.
It
the
was
system.
though, and
One
it's one of the
game was
biggest
enough
selling
to-
systems.
And
It's-
it didn't even come with the system.
it didn't
you
come
had to
with
buy it
There was no
separately.
game that
No.
came with it. But like that game alone sold that system
So
because
how
it
much
was such
was
a
the
good game.
system?
System ended up being about 390
So
after
$400.
taxes. Yeah,
How much was the game?
another $80. Yeah,
So it was like a $500 commitment day one that they were selling people
and it
for
people
one
bought it
video
though.
game. To play one video game,
Yeah.
there's $500.
It's a good
Think of
game.
what an awesome
It's a
game.
fantastic game though. It's a
I
400.
believe it.
It's a
I believe it.
fantastic
I mean,
game.
I was playing it a week later after it came out on my PC, though.
Well, it didn't come out on the PC. It got brought to the PC by
Yeah.
other people.
And it was
But
pretty
thanks
shitty.
to
I saw it.
mods, yeah, it was pretty
It was pretty
shitty.
terrible. You complained about it, so don't try to bring
Yeah,
it back.
no.
now.
Yeah,
It might be better now.
the game itself
It's because
like,
it's using
was,
emulators.
was fantastic. Like it was really good, and it was a system seller. Like I've got about 5 bought-in games, and then I got about 3 on the
System seller, so that game was worth $500 to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it was that good.
It's a
Wow.
Zelda game.
And I like
if
I,
any game was worth 500, it would be this one.
it really was
I
that
guess
good.
you're right. Okay.
It was amazing.
I didn't
like,
play it long enough. Like I played it for a bit, but I never played it long enough to.
It's so good.
to
Like
give a
it,
full review.
the
of it.
fact that it like the just the scale, grand scale of this game is fucking insane. But
Oh, yeah.
the whole point that I'm trying to bring out is like that was an instance. There was no day one patch on that.
Really?
You popped it in, you played it.
Here you go.
Yeah, system didn't have
Awesome.
a day one patch. You just popped it in, you played it. There was like about a week or 2 later, they had a couple little patches
old
that they put in
Nintendo.
just to help out. But that's the thing that I'm trying to say is like PlayStation and Xbox seem to rush things out. Nintendo does not give a fuck.
I mean,
They they got money. They don't. People
they
keep
had a
saying
bunch
like
of physical
they're-
problems with it.
Well,
But
yeah.
their software was fine.
Yeah, the thing. Yeah, there was some physical problems with it, but that was like remote though. That wasn't like every user had a problem.
Yeah,
it was like a
that's
very select few that had these problems. Like it was desyncing controllers, and that was just a very select few. Nintendo doesn't give a fuck because Nintendo already they're fucking filthy rich.
Oh, yeah.
Like more than
Oh, of
any other
course.
company, they can fail 10 times
Of
on a
course.
console
Yeah, yeah.
and still be good.
Yeah.
Like they make a lot of money, and they've already made a lot of money. Like they're sitting pretty on the amount of money that they make. It would take a lot to fucking put them out of business. But everybody thought that if this fails, Nintendo's gonna fail as a company. Like
Yeah,
that's
which was
not
a
gonna happen.
stupid
Yeah.
assumption.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen. They failed.
They failed
like,
so many times.
they
yeah.
failed with the fucking virtual Boy. That thing was a
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
super
that
failure.
sucked.
Like
half of their Game
people
Boys
were having
sucked.
seizures. Like like the Game Boys was another one.
Yeah,
Like,
some of them were good, but
Yeah,
they
like-
released like 8 of them, and like 3 of them.
Here's a
were
good example. How much was Nintendo when it came out? Almost $400 for just the Wii. They sold 120 million of those. Put that in perspective of how much money they would have made just from one console, not the games,
Yeah.
just the console.
How many
alone.
Switches have they sold?
Well,
It's right now. It's outselling from the time that Switch has been released till now. It has outsold the Wii
Oh, that's interesting.
from this
that's
point.
crazy.
Because
this
the,
point.
the Wii was a
What?
very new thing. It was motion control.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like it's anything that new.
No.
It does have motion control on it, but it's what it is. It's a
Portable.
portable console, like
Yeah.
a full,
Yeah, that's
ass
how they
console.
were marketing it.
and it worked fucking
Everyone wants
wonders.
to play a video game you can take a shit with, you know?
Well, that's what it is, right? Like, and that was the first. Like, I had a friend that
Game
bought
Boy?
it, and he was like,
Yeah,
I'm
PSP.
not,
Next to the shit.
PSP,
Yeah.
man. PSP.
PS
PSP,
Vita?
same deal, man. Yeah.
Vita,
I-
same deal.
I remember. I hardly remember the Vita coming
The
out.
video, well, it
It
was
seems
it
like
was-
they didn't give a shit.
it was a
about that.
whisper, but the thing is that it like it got supported, but not by PlayStation. Like the third party supported the Vita
Oh,
a
okay.
lot.
I think the interesting thing, so I'm going to take it back. The interesting thing about consoles opposed to PC is PC sells itself. Consoles, video games sell consoles.
The
Like
PC
if you think of
market's
Nintendo,
dying,
you think
though.
of Super Smash Bros. You
Yep.
think of, like games are the ones
selling the systems.
What
right? Like,
what system are you
Zelda
gonna buy?
with Nintendo.
Well, what games do you
What
fucking
game
like?
does it
Yeah.
exactly?
Yeah.
That's
Do you
why
like
people
Halo?
decide the
Do you
games.
like Mario?
Exactly.
Do you like fucking Crash Bandicoot? You know, like there's
Yeah.
The
There's a
games have
thing.
created staples for the system, right? Like if you like a certain game or a certain series, you're gonna buy that system.
Are you a
supporting
bro?
the
Are
series.
you a
It's
nerd?
not
Are you a
that
kid
the-
at heart?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
Bro, nerd, kid at heart. That's really the three, right?
Yeah.
Bro, you
exactly.
get your Xbox so you can fucking play your fucking online Halos
Halo, yeah.
and card
Yeah.
games and sports games.
Yeah.
You go to PlayStation for this. No offense to anybody that likes Xbox out there, but like the sophisticated gamer tends to go to PlayStation because they got the RPGs. They got
Yeah.
a lot of complicated RTSs that normally shouldn't work on a play or on a console, but they work.
I think
Nintendo
Sony
and
just
you
has
get
better
Just
developers.
Pokemon
fun.
and you-
Yeah, just fun.
Yeah.
That's all Nintendo is. They're like, hey, here's just fun games, and that's what they've marketed
PC,
themselves.
we get the hardcore shit.
Yeah, and then
Like
PC.
Rust.
Yeah, you get like
Well,
100.
PC is like again, it doesn't
1,000
sell-
hours
you
to
can have
do one
almost
thing.
everything, right? Like there's not like a staple with a PC, right? Like you don't buy a PC for a certain game a lot of
But
the
you
time.
miss out on your Nintendo games unless you do what Aaron does and
Yeah.
just get a shitty version of it that won't work very well.
That's true.
Hey,
You can just get
emulators. They work.
Emulators do work, and that's true. I remember Bleem. Bleem was
Bleem.
Bleemcast was the thing that I had.
Oh,
Like,
that, yeah.
that was the first one I think out of all the.
Oh, I've used so many emulators now.
I
but
did a lot of the I've done a lot of the emulators for the old systems like Super Nintendo and
There's
N64.
PS2 emulators. There's
PS2,
Xbox
yeah.
emulators.
they have PS3
My
emulators.
MacBook Pro would
Yeah.
handle it. I
They
used
have
to
they
do
have
that.
all emulators for pretty much every
You
system.
shake your head at me.
I'm pretty sure there's like a fucking PS4 emulator. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how well it would work, but I'm pretty sure there is one. Another one I'm going to bring up here, like topic-wise, because we are kind of running a little high on time. We're not quite there yet, but physical releases versus digital releases. I'm a game collector. Like I
You're the
legitimately,
physical.
yeah, I collect things. I got records, and I'm buying records now instead of CDs because I find giving that extra $10 gives me a lot more girth to what I'm getting. You know, like there's like usually big layouts and stuff, whereas CDs have been kind of getting cheaper and lesser and lesser.
And the sound quality.
And sound quality
on
is
CDs
another big
garbage.
unbelievable difference. But
Yeah.
the physical releasing of video games has always kind of been there. I can't imagine a time that hasn't been there. Like even to today, you can still buy them. It seems more and more recently that it's more inevitable that we're just going to get to digital releasing only. Where it's and that's just where the industry's going. It makes, and I'm not trying to like, I get why it's going that way. You know, it makes the most sense for the
convenience,
developer.
Right? It's, people don't have to leave their basement.
Yeah, they just buy
the
it.
game, right? Like,
Well,
But
it's cheaper.
it's
too.
cheaper for the people to do,
Cheaper,
like the
yeah.
producers of the game. Like if you understand how game works, we have developers who make the games, and we have producers who release the games. It's cheaper for the producers to release the games on there. They make more
of
money,
course, yeah.
more bang on their buck. And with games right now,
You're not
like
printing out discs. And
$200
copies.
million to make a game. That's how much it costs. It's like more than what it costs to make movies these days, to make a video game. So they have a lot of bottom dollar they have to try and make back before they're actually starting to make
Right.
money. So like it makes most sense for it to jump into the digital age, and that's where it's going. Like you're a fool if you think it's not going to go that way. Like it's gonna go that way. We do have some companies out there that have been like trying to combat this, or at least make it accessible to other people. There's a game called Limited Run Games. What they do is they take digital only games and they make limited physical releases of it. So they'll release 2,000 copies of this one digital game. As a collector, it's fucking aggravating as shit because they're only doing 2,000 copies. So you have to be that person that's there, like, click, I got it, you know. And I've been fortunate that every single limited run that I wanted to get, I've managed to get. So that's worked out for me. But like, there's a lot of people that are like fucking having to pay $400 or $500 for a game because they didn't click fast enough to get these fucking games. So there is like
There's other problems I think with the digital games too. Is if like say if you fucking were drinking and you spilt a bunch of shit on your PS4, right, and you had a bunch of downloaded games on there.
well,
And
You can
everything's
get those back.
clouded now.
Yeah.
So like in the new,
that is true.
yeah, everything's clouded. So like if I buy a brand new, all I have to do is transfer my profile over.
Right. Yeah,
And then I can
yeah,
re-download
right,
everything. And that was what most people thought of, like, complaint-wise. Originally, was that, oh, if I buy these digital games, they're not going to carry over to the next console or whatever it is. And
But they
fucking
should,
it
yeah,
hasn't,
they
you know?
can, yeah.
Like, Nintendo's Virtual Console. I have bought in fucking Earthbound twice. I have bought in all the Zeldas, the original Zeldas, well over 10 times.
Jesus.
Well over 10 times. And that's, like, physically... and then getting it on the Virtual Console was on the Wii, and then I got it for the Wii U, and then I'm gonna get it for fucking the Switch when it comes over the Switch.
Yeah, which is dumb. Like if you buy it for one, it should be.
It should be carried over,
for
and I
sure.
think that's what Nintendo's gonna announce at E3 coming up. I think
Well, they're
that's one of
talking
the big
about
things.
that Nintendo Online.
Yeah, Nintendo Online, which is I think the big thing for them at E3 is going to be we are coming out with a Virtual
They need to
Console
move
that
that way.
carries
Yeah.
over from console to console. We come out with a new console, don't worry about it. We're gonna move your name over, and which is what they did when the Switch came out. They're like, hey, this is your time to pick your name. Don't worry about what your names were before. Just pick a name that you're going to be using from this point
And
forward, and
it'll carry
it's
it
going
on.
to carry on.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
That's the right thing
They're
to
going to
do.
fully extend this, I think.
That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, I think that's the big thing for Nintendo. Not to mention, they're going to be talking about Splatoon 2, which is a very big game for them. It's like an online shooter game where you're shooting ink. You're trying to, like, it's actually kind of cool. Like, it takes the traditional, like, shooter, and you're not trying to shoot each other. You can, and then you get respawned at the beginning of the map again, but you're trying to paint the map. So you're trying to put your ink everywhere, like on all the ground and stuff like that. The person at the end of the match who has released the most ink on the ground wins. That's how the game works. It's a fucking really cool concept.
I don't like it.
No, I can't shoot the guy in the face. It's not good. It's not. I'm not there. But it's actually a pretty big game for them. So I'm sure they're going to talk about that, and of course the new Mario Odyssey. And if you haven't seen that, it's fucking weird.
There's a
it's-
preview for it.
Is that the
Mario
one in
and
New
people.
York?
Yeah, well, it looks like New York, and there's real people walking around, and Mario's running around. It's actually New Donk City. Fuck, they got to come up with better goddamn names. It's for Donkey Kong. But yeah, it looks like that's going to be like a social hub, kind of like Mario 64. You know how they had the castle to go through? It looks like that's what that's going to be for the.
Super cool.
Yeah, it looks super interesting. So that's like I'm pretty sure that's going to cover Nintendo on E3.
I think they're coming out with another Pokemon game, but it's just for Magikarp.
Oh yeah, that is on your phone.
They have that iOS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
iOS.
that already out?
I think it is. Yeah,
called?
It's called.
I'm not sure what it is.
You have to like train just Magikarp.
Which is if you played fucking Pokemon Go, like just to get the amount of Magikarps you have to do to upgrade them is
Oh
fucking
god,
insane.
it's 400. You need 400 candies.
Fucking stupid.
So.
But I get why they're making a whole game based around that. So that they're going to be talking a little bit more about their mobile. That's been like making them fucking tons of money.
And
like,
they said for the longest time they would never do mobile.
they got to go the way of the times, right?
Yeah.
But I think Nintendo is doing it right. Nintendo is not doing any extra transactions. Like they do have some for like Pokemon Go, but they make everything accessible. Everything you can buy on Pokemon Go, you can earn in Pokemon Go. So you don't have to do this. It's just if you want to fast track it, you're allowed to. Mario Run was another one. $10 for a fucking iOS game. That's insane. But you never have to buy anything else. It's $10 flat.
Turns out they made a lot less money doing it that way.
It's true, but I respect that concept
Premium
more.
games are where you gross the money.
Yeah,
There has to be like in-store content.
It's the
you can
same
buy.
as a VLT
Yeah.
with those freemium games. The way they work is 99% of the people aren't going to buy anything, but 1% of the people are going to spend a fuck ton of money, and those are gambling addicts.
Yeah, those are the people that are gonna like they want that Bing on there. So yeah, I spent $300 in Pokemon,
They
but
get me every time.
we worked with somebody that spent within
Day
the first
one,
2 weeks,
$200.
$200. That was fucking
Pokemon
insane
Go.
just on Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane,
That is way too goddamn much money to spend on a fucking iOS game.
On a
but
free
that
game.
shows exactly what happens with
The
these type of
effectiveness
things, right?
of it, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Nintendo's got a bright future in that aspect. Like I'm fairly certain Nintendo's gonna fucking knock it out of the park this E3. They always have who's the winner of E3. People are expecting Xbox to come out swinging really hard with this new console, but I don't think it's going to hit as hard as people are
Is
expecting.
PlayStation following up with that?
PlayStation right now has got the best exclusive games. They're like that are only for PlayStation. Way better than any of the other stuff. Like Xbox has kind of dropped off. They've only had maybe two. There was one called Scalebound that got canceled.
Yeah.
And that was a huge game for them, and they canceled it. Fable is no longer. Like, they were talking about doing Fable. Well, Fable 3 was kind of fucked up, and the guy that made it was, like, promised a billion things and didn't deliver on any of them. Which is the same thing that happened with Hello Games and No Man's Sky. They promised everything, and nothing ever happened from it. But they closed out Fable, so there's no Fable. We have, what, Halo? Well, how many times can you release Halo before it's like, okay, enough is enough. Like, give me something else.
Enough is enough.
I thought that at like Halo 4.
Yeah, I've dropped out long before that. Even at 2, I was kind of sick of it.
Halo 2 is the last thing I played.
Me
I
too.
played the fuck out of Halo 3.
Which I get, like it's a thing. Like people do like it, but you can only release the same fucking thing all the time. So right now they have
Look at
Halo,
Call of Duty.
Yeah, fuck.
They release a new game every year.
Halo, Forza, Gears of War, That's Xbox. If you
Yeah.
can you name any other big
And they just
title on there?
all those games just had one.
Yeah, they all just got released in the past year. So all they are is going to be like, hey, if you buy this, we're going to have another Forza. We're going to have another. Like,
What
it's
do you
just,
think? Because Sony's got the VR.
Yeah.
What do you think of Microsoft doing something?
I think Microsoft. This
Like
would fucking
They
win
have
them.
the HoloLens, but that is not
Going to
coming
come
to
out.
the
No,
Xbox.
it's not going to the Xbox. Here's what I think would really fucking destroy. This would make Xbox win. Is if they made Oculus or HTC compatible with.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think that would knock it out because those are stronger virtual realities. But that being said, the PSVR is not the big gangbuster that everybody expected out of it. You know, like they're not. They're making a lot of money. Like they're on track from where they expected to do, but they're not really releasing a ton of games. You know, there's a couple games here and there that aren't like super huge.
If you wanted to power an Oculus with an Xbox, though, you would have to hook up like 3 Xboxes.
Do you know all the stats of the new one?
Of the new Oculus?
No, of the new Xbox Scorpio.
It's not going to be good enough to run an Oculus. I'll tell you that.
How about HTC? That's the...
Still, no.
Yeah. I don't know. What if they do something like this where they have an exterior thing? Because that's what PlayStation had to do. Is like almost like an extra smaller console.
Unless they have a full-out video card in a box and another processor, they're not running it.
I'm just saying, you didn't think PlayStation was going to be able to pull it off, and they did.
Yes, but that's a much different thing than the Oculus.
True.
We're talking like less than half the resolution.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I think I can agree with that. But that's the only thing I can see Xbox really hitting it out of the park. PlayStation, all they have to do is just show what's coming out. That's all they have to do because they have got...
They're already on top of it.
Oh shit, well I mean if you want to go The Last of Us 2, they're going to show some gameplay footage of that. That's fucking huge. Last of Us was such a big game last generation. It was probably the best game of last generation.
Yeah, I wish
graphically
I could play that, actually.
and game wise. Yeah, it's fantastic, man. It's so well done. And if you've seen the trailer for the new one, it's just the girl Ellie playing a guitar, and the fucking like when she's like you can see the movement in the strings, like it's perfect. It almost looks like a real guitar doing it. Unfucking believable. So like they're gonna definitely do some footage of that. They got the new Spider-Man game with Insomniac Games. It's a PlayStation exclusive. That game looks fucking great. And it's by the people that did...
That's an open world concept game too, right?
Yeah, it is open world, and it's by the people that did Infamous. And if you know what Infamous is,
that'd be good.
Okay,
yeah. So
that-
they know how to do open world games. Like they're really good at it.
They
So
know
they're
how to do like the flying.
yeah,
shit,
and like
too.
now they're just going to be doing swinging and stuff. So they've it's looking very promising on there. So those two alone are just going to fucking destroy things. Not to mention the new Uncharted. Uncharted basically printed money. The last Uncharted that came out.
Yeah. Well,
It
now
was
they're doing a
huge.
movie.
They are doing a movie. I can't. It's the guy that's playing Spider-Man actually in the new movie is going to be playing the young Nathan Drake
Oh, yeah.
in that movie. So that's another big thing is Uncharted's new game coming out.
I like how like really a great way to promote games seems to be like putting them in these competitions, right?
It's
Like,
huge, yeah.
Stuff like it's like the best way to advertise games. Like,
Street
seriously.
Fighter 5 was based around tournaments. That's like 100%.
Awesome.
Even
Like,
though
if you
everyone
if you
hated it
throw a
because-
competitive game in BlizzCon, like it's like the best advertising you could
Yeah.
possibly do
Oh,
because so many people go to BlizzCon, so many people watch shit like that, right?
It's
And if you
the
see
biggest
competitive-
advertisement you could do for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
There's
Yeah.
nothing bigger than
And
being
Uncharted
able
was
to-
a huge example of that, right? Like it just like dominated in competitive play. Like people loved the online Uncharted.
People did like that a lot. I don't know how it hit to competitive like in the like esports world, but I do know that it was like a huge thing on the online with that. But that game was fucking gangbusters. The amount that it made.
Yeah.
They have a new one coming out that's like a side story to the last one that came out, and people fucking gonna shit over that.
That new Far Cry looks sick.
Yeah, the new Far Cry is all Western. It's spaghetti Western is what they're doing.
Cool.
So it's gonna be like Red Dead Redemption sort of
Cool.
deal.
Cool.
Not to
Far
mention
Cry?
Red Dead. Yeah, well, it's not going to be Red Dead Redemption, but it's going to be Western for the new Far Cry. Far Cry 5.
Not from what I've seen of it. It's all like, well, it's sort of Western, but it's like it's set in America, somewhat modern times, and there's basically like a religious cult. That is,
See, I
like,
heard that
taking
I haven't seen trailers. I've been trying to avoid
Well,
it.
that's in the trailer.
Okay, I've been watching. From what I heard, it was like people were saying that it was like a Western. So that's all I heard. I've been trying to keep myself silent on
It's
it.
not
so.
Western like
No?
Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, good.
Not at all.
I was worried because they were going to release it the same month that Red Dead was supposed to come out, and I'm like, that's just murder. Don't do
No,
that. Just
yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Like the new Rockstar game versus anything.
Rocks.
Rockstar's gonna win.
There was a lot of controversy over it because people are like, Because, like, all the other games, you're in, like, other places shooting brown people. And then this one, they're like, oh, you're shooting white people. We can't have that. And, like, people are all pissed off because the main, like, bad people is, like, a religious group.
Mm-hmm. Here's the deal, though. I think...
That seems awesome.
I think that PlayStation, that's going to be on the PlayStation. It's going to be on all consoles.
Yeah.
But PlayStation's going to feature it in their showcase. I'm almost certain of
Far
that.
Cry?
Far Cry. I'm almost certain of it. I don't see it going into the Xbox. And that's another thing, too, is when they do these showcases, some of these things that are on all consoles, if they get focused on the PlayStation one, then that's... people are going to think of it associated with the PlayStation. I think that's really going to, like, knock them up. So I do think that that's going to go on the PlayStation side of things as well. Nintendo, another thing that they might bring is the new Smash Brothers coming. Yeah, it's probably going to be a port console of the last Smash Brothers, but even just that alone is enough. Yeah, like they don't. The last Smash Brothers was so fucking. You played it pretty recently. It's just as good as any of the other ones. Better than the Brawl version anyway.
I found like it's more balanced than the Brawl. You
Oh
know what I mean?
yeah, way more balanced.
Like you can almost play any character and.
You stand a chance,
You're fairly balanced opposed to like the Brawl, right? Where you had like your certain people, like your ice climbers, and you know what I mean. It was like certain characters that professionals would play because of their.
So that's a big one. Yeah. Now here's one that happened a couple years. I think it was 2 years ago that they did this. Bethesda started doing their own, not just PlayStation, not just Xbox, not Nintendo. A fucking Bethesda panel that was just Bethesda and what Bethesda's coming out with. That's where Fallout 4 came out. Yeah. That was where they announced Fallout 4 when everybody fucking shot themselves.
So much hype. Yeah,
it really did. So the next year, big, not as big. They did the Doom game on there, which was like it didn't seem like much, but when Doom came out, it fucking blew popular. It was amazing. It was one of like I think it was the sleeper hit of everything because it was so fucking good and so well done and like it brought us back to Doom, what Doom should have been, because Doom 3 was not a very good game. It was kind of like on the fence of an okay game.
This one was like super fast paced. All that.
Oh yeah, you're just slamming through fucking the demons everywhere. It was just so good. Like I beat it recently, and it's hard. Like even just on normal setting, it's really difficult to get through.
It's really good for PC too, because it's optimized really well.
Well, that's one thing Bethesda always does. They build for PC and move it to console. Like that, they have to.
Well, yeah, their games would fall apart if they didn't.
Like, let's face it, Skyrim is a PC game. Fallout is a PC game. Doom started out as a PC game.
When I heard they were releasing Skyrim for, like, Switch or whatever.
That's insane. I can't believe they're doing it.
Yeah, it's like,
we'll see what happens.
It's been so long. I don't even see why people would want to play that.
People want to play it on the go. You know how many, like, it has a dedicated fan base that still play it just as much as they did back then.
It's crazy, because there's that online one now.
But it's not as good.
Sucked.
Well, it sucked to begin with, but it's much better now. Like it's out for the PlayStation 4.
When I played it, it sucked.
It's doing really well. Like it's making a lot of money. But that's kind of what my point is that Bethesda they do build for this type of thing first. But right now, what's going to happen with Bethesda doing theirs? They're probably going to announce something towards the effect of like a new Doom, like a Doom 2, or a new Wolfenstein coming out.
Yeah,
Wolfenstein was really well done.
Remake Duke Nukem.
They have, like, and it was terrible.
Do it good.
Duke Nukem Forever
was so bad, and that was in development hell for like 10 years too.
Yeah,
it took forever for them to release it. It was so bad. Like,
it was shitty.
But that's also not an id Software game, which Bethesda bought id out, which is where Doom came from and Wolfenstein came out.
Okay.
And the latest Wolfenstein games, the Old Blood.
Did you play that?
Oh yeah, they're fucking good. They're really
I
solid.
Played it.
You should try them. They're fantastic. Like really well done. It brought me back into like that first person feeling, and that's what got me into Doom again, because Doom, fucking fantastic.
A new Duke Nukem, if they did it properly though. That would be good.
If it was done properly, yeah.
It was so popular when it first came out, man.
I remember that, the laser trip mines and shit.
Well, you could throw fucking money at the strippers that show you titties.
First hits,
yeah, for sure was. It was fucking great. So Bethesda doing theirs, what could they possibly announce? So not going to do another Fallout. There's no way. They've already announced that that's it for Fallout DLC. They're not doing any more.
Really?
That's it. That's all. They're not going to do anything more for Skyrim.
They got as much out of the Fallout, I think, as they could have.
Oh yeah, they can't get
at least.
No, for sure. You don't want to go. You don't push it.
Was better.
But yeah, a lot of people feel that. I don't like Part 4 nearly as much as I enjoyed 3 or New Vegas, even for that matter.
Yeah, New Vegas was sick.
The Skyrim, not going to do anything with Skyrim other than announcing that it's coming out on the Switch. That's probably here's the date. That's the best they could do with that.
Do you think they're ever going to make another Morrowind? or
another
Elder
Skyrim
Scrolls?
or Elder Scrolls.
They could.
They will. They have
Yeah.
already said that they're working on it. It's just not
How are they
forefront.
gonna top Skyrim though?
I don't think they can.
Yeah.
Right
You'd
now,
have to set it in different
they would
age
have
or
to
something,
redo
or you'd
more
have
of
to,
it.
like, yeah.
they've already said that they're working on it, but it's not even close to the forefront. Don't expect any. They've already said don't expect it at the
a couple
C3.
years.
So that's you can knock Skyrim off or Elder Scrolls off the list for Bethesda, which leaves a Dishonored, which they just did Dishonored 2. So that's
Yeah.
probably not going to have anything there. They can do something with, like I said, Doom or Wolfenstein. Those are 3 things, but that's not enough to carry an entire panel off of that. They can announce something for the Elder Scrolls Online.
Do we know if they have a panel this year?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they have another one coming out this year. But like Elder Scrolls Online just released Morrowind as a DLC, so you can explore all of Morrowind in it. So that's crazy. They're probably going to showcase that a little bit, but I can't imagine them like having another big announcement. Like what could possibly they said they're working on a new IP.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Todd Howard said that. Yeah, Todd Howard said
see what else they could
my
do.
studio, which is because if you don't know, Bethesda has like 25 studios across the world.
There's one in Montreal.
Yeah, there's one in Toronto, one in Montreal, there's one in LA, there's one in they're all in New York, all over the place. Todd Howard's studio said they have a new IP that they're working on, so most likely that's going to get announced. I think they're going to focus a lot on Quake because Quake is coming out. Yeah, the remake of Quake.
That's right.
And that's a battle arena, right? Like that's basically
that's through Blizzard as well too.
Is it through Blizzard? I thought it was just them.
I'm pretty sure they're doing it through Blizzard because I was trying to get into I hate Blizzard.
Really?
Their support and shit's balls.
Isn't Blizzard Overwatch?
Yeah.
Yeah, Overwatch is like
probably
fucking
got better now.
Overwatch is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
like I've never played it, but I've heard Overwatch is fucking like one of the best online like battle arena.
Blizzard hasn't really made anything shitty.
No, I just don't like the customer service. Like I
call them, and they're just like the games are great, but like when I call,
you try getting your Diablo 2 account back. Try it right now. It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
That's fair. I've had some people complain about some of that shit too, where they sold something and put it towards one thing, and they can't change it out. Yeah, I've heard some stuff about that.
I cannot get my Diablo accounts, no matter what I do.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
I can't take that one away. But this could be something like as big as that. You know, if Quake is going to be that big, because Quake was a big game when it came out. It was the one that like kind of introduced battle arenas.
Joe Rogan's going to be playing the new Quake.
Whatever happened to Turok?
Turok disappeared. It was a Nintendo IP. I believe it was a Rare Nintendo IP.
Yeah, why are we making that again?
Well, Rare's now owned by Xbox. So it's no longer a Nintendo, and Rare doesn't own the properties to the stuff, some of the stuff that was on N64. So Turok was N64, technically owned by Nintendo.
Rare made Perfect Dark.
Rare did make Perfect Dark.
We talked about a wicked Perfect Dark.
Yeah. Imagine a new Perfect Dark.
Oh god,
that'd be fucking sweet.
That would be so.
Well, I've got the Rare
like
compilation that came out for the Xbox, and Perfect Dark's on there. So like you can play the original Perfect Dark on the Xbox One the same way that you would on there.
I did that. I bought it on like the marketplace or whatever.
Yeah, it's really well done actually.
Oh yeah, it's great.
The Rare package is really good.
Game.
Fuck, I love Rare. But like they don't own all those Nintendo properties. So like Rare did Donkey Kong. Rare did all the Donkey Kong countries.
But they don't own those rights.
They don't own Donkey Kong, so they can't carry those games over to here, right? Nintendo's the owner of those. Which is why we are having trouble seeing stuff from like I don't know if anybody remembers this game from the Super Nintendo. It was a Mario RPG. It's an RPG game, Mario. You're never going to see a Mario RPG 2 because Square doesn't own the rights to the Mario characters, and Square made that game. They just kind of did a little partnership for that. So that's why it continued being Paper Mario.
Oh, okay.
Paper Mario became the new RPG, not Square doing it. So we're having like some issues with that. But like, I mean, Rare is going to have something for the Xbox. I can't imagine them not bringing Rare into this some way, shape, or form. Maybe new Conker's Bad Fur Day. You know, that might happen.
God.
Like the game's fucking played out. It's not a good game.
Yeah.
Like people liked it because it was crude and rude, but it just isn't a good game.
There's so
it's
many
just okay.
of those now, though.
Yeah, like you don't need that. Like I don't know.
They're probably going to be they did last year, but they're probably going to be showing off that new South Park game.
Well, yeah, the Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
That one is been pushed, so because it was supposed to come out last December, and it's been pushed with an incomplete.
The Stick of Truth was like delayed forever.
A lot of time,
Yeah.
but this is because Trey Parker and Matt Stone want to have everything to do with the game. They want it to be South Park. They don't want it to be Because like if you
Which
look
Stick
at
of Truth was, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was like playing an
yeah.
episode. It was
Yeah.
like playing like a very long episode.
That was such a well done game.
Fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
That was awesome.
I love that game, but this game I'm looking forward to because of that. Like, because I know that with them being involved with it, it's gonna have that same feel to it, and they won't release something unless it's fucking perfect the way that they want it to be.
There's not many games I like laughed out loud. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, that was the funniest game
it
I've
was
ever
like-
played. Yeah,
It was hilarious. Like, it was like watching a movie.
it was
like a
so
South Park
fucking
movie.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
the
awesome.
movements, every aspect about it was great. Yeah, like I kind of want to play it again now that we're
I
talking
do
about it.
too.
Yeah. Apparently, if you fucking pre-order the Fractured Butthole, you get a copy of it for your PS4, so you can play it on PS4.
What a good name, Fractured Butthole.
Yeah, they're just fucking clever, man.
They
The
are.
South Park people are fucking
They are,
fantastic.
yeah.
So, like, the last thing I'm going to mention about E3 talk that I have is E3 for since the beginning of it has been like the outlet for game developers to announce things and bring things out to the public. And when I say to the public, it's always been the journalism side of things. The journalists would come, they'd see all these things, they do write-ups on it. Before the like internet was super huge and you could just watch all these things at home, they would be the person that goes to Gaming Monthly or EGM and IGN and all these other things and just being like, here's all the stuff we got to see. You know, this was before the internet got fucking huge and you could just
now
look
we
at
just
everything.
live stream it.
Live stream it. Well, this is, I believe this year is the first year that they are allowing just public, like anybody, to go and buy a ticket to see E3. And I think that this is going to diminish the importance of E3 overall. I think it's going to turn more into a Comic-Con thing that, yeah, you're going to get some announcements. It's never going to be as big. Because
You think
right
so?
now, oh yeah, well right now,
I think
We
it
have-
almost puts pressure on them to do more.
I don't think it does because they've come out with new concepts. Like there's PSX that comes out around December every year, in November, December, where PSX just announces all their stuff.
Okay.
Nintendo doesn't really participate in E3. They just do a Nintendo Direct during E3, and people associate it with that. But it's a Nintendo thing. It's all
Right.
strictly Nintendo. So right now, that's PS saving all their juicy shit for their thing. That's Nintendo saving all their juicy shit for their thing. Xbox doesn't really have something specific, but there's Euro game or there's a Euro one. I can't remember the fucking name of it. And then there's PAX and PAX East.
Yeah.
Those things all have big announcements that they do on there. What's the importance of E3 if not just for the journalisms anymore? If they're just going to come in, it's just like, hey, come showcase our games. You can play them. Like it's going to be a lot more hands-on than it has been in the past. Before it was always like videos. You can see this video. You can see this video. They're not going to be able to entertain 500,000 people walking through that building just by
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah,
They're
that's
gonna
true.
they're gonna have to show people that they can pick this up and play this and try this
Yeah,
thing.
that's
And
true.
I mean, I honestly think E3 has been declining
me too.
the last couple of years. It hasn't been as good.
It hasn't set the same importance that it always had in the
It's
past.
so cringy now.
It is kind of cringy. Like there's always been those like E3 presentations that just fucking flop, and
Yeah.
it's almost always by Xbox.
Yeah.
It's very rare that it goes to somebody else, but Xbox has blown it many years where they're just like don't have a clue about their core audience. Like look when Xbox One came out or announced. They focused on you can watch TV through your Xbox. Who
Yeah.
gives a
Who
fuck?
I remember they said that like 1,000 times.
Yeah, I've seen the reel of like every time they say
TV.
TV,
Yeah, it was like, who cares?
it's
Yeah,
like
it
5
was
minutes of
totally-
TV,
Yeah,
sports, TV,
yeah.
TV, sports,
Yeah, they
sports,
said
sports,
sports
TV,
a fuck ton,
TV,
too.
sports.
It's like you're talking to a bunch of video gamers.
You're
man.
targeting the wrong audience. Like they always fuck them up. So like I'm starting to see like Nintendo I think has it right with this direct that they do because it's produced. The last Nintendo Direct that like really had some like gravity to it, which was last year, they did as Muppets. They get all the people that were part of Nintendo, like Iwata, Reggie, Shigeru Miyamoto, like all the big names in Nintendo. They made Muppet versions of them and did the Direct as Muppets
Oh, yeah,
because
I
it was
remember that.
directed and produced. There's no fuck ups when you have it produced and directed like that, and they're
Yeah.
just releasing it at the same time. So now people get these like perfect. You get your message across because you're able to watch it, edit it, make it proper. I think that's the way to go. I don't
Yeah.
think doing these live things is the right move anymore.
Especially when you're trying to do like live tech demos.
Oh yeah, when you see people playing and
It's
like,
gonna fail
oh, this
all
isn't
the
supposed to
time.
happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that happened. Oh yeah, like what
All
was
the
it was
time.
No Man's Sky that like he couldn't even take off in a ship or some shit like
Well,
that.
that's just No Man's.
Well, yeah, but I know, but like it's still in like there was like these things that was like. Oh no, No Man's Sky was the one where they said they were playing live and it was just a video.
Oh,
They just
yeah.
sat there with a controller
Oh
and it was a video.
What? Okay, was it a couple of years ago? Okay, this happens every time where I think it was E3. They were showing off Battlefield. This happened with Battlefield 4. This happened with Battlefield 1, and they're like, look at how good this is running on an Xbox. And then, like, you can see that it's hooked up to a PC. Someone, like, opened the console, like, where they are, and there's, like, this beast fucking PC there.
Yeah, like, that is not the Xbox.
Yeah, and you can see the guy, like, with the Windows start screen restarting.
Yeah, just like a fucking mouse, click, click, and then
yeah,
it just
it was like, are you guys
it's just like
serious?
fatal error comes up, like error code, blah blah blah.
And they do it every year, and people catch them every year. They're like, you're not fooling anyone, boys.
I just think it's like it's almost a joke. The people I watch E3 to see who fucks up the most.
Oh yeah,
is what it's
there's
almost coming
always
down to.
one every year.
So I don't think it has the same fucking gravity that it used to have, and I think that we're gonna see the real decline starting this year because the public's gonna be there.
I hope there's just like a fist fight or something.
Oh, that'd be fucking fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
Microsoft versus Sony.
Yeah,
Just bench brawl.
let's do it.
That'd
Todd
be
Howard
great.
fucking taking on some people.
Just one guy standing at the end, just dead bodies everywhere.
We're better off that way. Why not?
Xbox wins.
Why don't we just have an MMA cage fight in there with all the fucking? We have Nintendo, we have fucking Xbox,
Oh,
we have
God.
fucking Bethesda, we got PlayStation. Go, fucking who wins?
Whoever
That's it.
wins gets the money for the games.
Yeah, that's it. Plain and simple. Let's
You
make
get
this
to make the
real
best
fucking
game.
interesting. That'd be fucking excellent. Well, I mean, I think that basically covers everything that we can talk about video games for now, unless anybody else has anything else they want to say. Either way,
Let's follow up after E3.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have a I guess a post, not a post. Yeah, post
Post,
E3.
yeah.
I had to think of the name of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
post E3. Fucking what we thought of it and if it was even fucking decent or not.
Yeah.
And that's going to be in about a week or so from now. But either way, this has been Why the Fuck Not. If you didn't know, it's three people that sit around one table, talk about one topic for your amusement. You can find us on Facebook at Why the Fuck Not Podcast. You can find us on Podbean at WTFN Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube where you can get the video in any way, shape, or form. You can basically watch us and hear us. So we try and make it as accessible as possible. You can also reach us on Facebook through email, and we love it when you guys do that because it gives us a chance to either refine or change things up if we notice something that needs to be done.
Give us some ideas on some future episodes, some things you'd like to hear about. Please like, share.
Comment,
Keep those
subscribe
comments
if
coming.
it's on there. Yeah, any one of those things would be great for us. Either way, I'm Ed.
I'm Dwight.
I'm Aaron.
Don't throw spoons at hookers.
Join the
Don't wear a
PC
cowboy hat.
Masters.
Don't.